It's time to feel the holiday spirit, and it's time for the NFL on Fox. The Vikes send their wild card greetings to the Cheeseheads. In Mitty, what was once Boone's metropolis is now Johnson's joint, as Brad's got his purple ship steered toward the promised land. But the Baymen want vengeance for that early season downer, man. And Brett wants St. Nick to deliver some cold playoff games to the frozen tundra.
All right, folks, let's set the playoff table for you. In the NFC, we know the 6 teams, but there are still some loose ends. As long as Green Bay doesn't lose by 19 or more, they have home field advantage. A Carolina victory, and it wins the West and gains a first-round bye. Dallas will host a wild card game next weekend. San Francisco can still win the West with a win and a Carolina loss. If the Niners don't do that, they'll also host a wild card game next weekend. Both Minnesota and Philadelphia, we know, will be on the road. In the AFC, Denver has home field throughout, while New England gets the other bye and will host its first playoff game in nearly 2 decades. Pittsburgh is at home next weekend for its wild card game. Now, the only question remaining, who gets in the playoffs? If Jacksonville beats Atlanta, the Jaguars are in as long as the Chiefs-Bills does not end in a tie. Hey, folks, that hasn't happened since 1989. Now, that would also mean Indianapolis would be in, and the loser of Kansas City-Buffalo would be out of the playoffs. And we begin up in chilly Green Bay. And as we just mentioned, if the Packers avoid losing by more than 18 points today, Lambeau Field will be the site of all of their upcoming playoff games. Dick Stockton joins us now with a preview of today's Packers-Vikings game. And good morning, Dick.
Good morning and season's greetings to you all from chilly Lambeau Field, where it'll be in the 20s, and we have snow flurries right now. And of course, as you know, both the Packers and the Vikings are in the playoffs. The Packers trying to nail down the home field advantage and extend their winning streak here at Lambeau Field to 16 consecutive games. Also, the Packers are out to avenge an early season setback in Week 4 when the Vikings beat them 30-21. The Vikings did a lot of talking, and they did this week when ex-Packer linebacker Jeff Brady had these feelings, saying, "I'm coming to Lambeau Field ready to headhunt," and Packer head coach Mike Holmgren, in an angry outburst to his team, said Brady will not make a play today, and whoever lets him may be looking for work. So the battle lines are indeed drawn today. And to help protect Brett Favre, the Pack have made a change in the offensive line. 10-year veteran Bruce Wilkerson will start at left tackle in place of rookie John Michaels, who struggled big time against the Lions last week. Jake Reed of the Vikings, the fine wide receiver with a bruised hip, is expected to play today. Minnesota has a goal as well. They've never finished the regular season with 4 consecutive victories. They'll be out to do it today.
Time for the Porsche quarterback report. At the end of the season, the winner will receive a 1997 Porsche Boxster. Now, what does Mama Navas Genoa say?
Well, she said Brett Favre got home field advantage locked up. Steve Young will have a big game come Monday night. I'm going with Steve Young. May the earth tremble.
Wow. When we come back, we'll take a look at the Carolina Panthers. The earth will remain stable, we hope. All of that after this.
Averaging 18.7 yards per return. Also, Amp Lee returns kickoffs for the Vikings as well.
Vikings are last in the league at kickoff returns. Special teams is a matchup the Packers ought to win all day.
Here is the kickoff, a line drive by Hintrich that goes down to the goal line and reversing, going to the outside, and now trying to come up the middle to the 15 to about the 20 to the 23-yard line for the Minnesota Vikings. Harold Morrow, who is back to return, and he gets it out to about the 22 or 23-yard line. By the way, Red Cashin works the game today as the referee, and for Red Cashin, his last regular season game after 25 years of doing this.
First down.
Ow.
Is that red?
Yes, that's red. You got the right person there. Minnesota Vikings, Todd Stussy, the left tackle. Randall McDaniel is the left guard. Jeff Christie, now make it David Dixon at the right guard. Jeff Christie at center. It's a first down play out of an I formation. Horde is the running back deep. And here's a play action fake by Brad Johnson. Looks, fires to the outside, and a mix-up between him and his receiver, Chris Carter. Carter ran an out pattern. It was out and up was the pattern that Brad Johnson threw.
I'll tell you, he was very well covered by Craig Newsom, so I think he
One of them made a mistake, let's face it.
Is that out of the playbook of Kansas City or what?
I think somebody zigged when they wanted to zag right there. That was miscommunication. Not a good start if you're the Viking coaching staff.
But, you know, they did go for the big one on the first down because I think it was meant to be a fly pattern.
Well, and that's exactly what Kansas City did. Remember, they ran a fly pattern down the sidelines to start them off on that particular play. Second down and 10 from the 22-yard line for the Minnesota Vikings. Receivers to the left and right, and now here's the handoff to Hort. He cuts back against the grain and gets a couple of yards out to about the 26-yard line. Tripped up. Either Wayne Simmons or somebody down on the ground. Might have been Brian Williams, got a hand up and knocked him down to about the 26-yard line, where it becomes third down. And let's give them 6 yards to go for the first down for the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are 9-6 with a 3-game winning streak.
The Vikings pulling 350-pound right guard David Dixon leading the play on there. He's a former rugby player from New Zealand.
Out of Arizona State, where he played his college football. Now 3 wide receivers for the Minnesota Vikings and a single running back, and Johnson back to throw. Got great protection. Fires it up on a crossing pattern to the tight end. Ripped down is David Faison before he can get a first down out of it. Great play by Wayne Simmons on it.
Oh, he was right on him, Jim, and gave him no chance to make a first down. Big defensive effort by the Packers.
But, Larry, that's also because the down receivers were well covered. He had to come to the short man over the middle.
Absolutely, and Wayne's athlete is the most tight ends in this league.
Today's game brought to you by Mills, Fleet Farm, and DeWalt. DeWalt tools, high-performance industrial tools, and accessories for all your do-it-yourself projects. It's thrill time because here's Desmond Howard back to return for the Packers. Good snap from center, and Berger's kick will be a high floater coming up a little short, and Desmond trying to get the ball called fair catch and makes the catch at the 33-yard line. Look at this. We got 2 guys blocking down here all over each other, and they trip each other up, and Red Cashin gets in between the 2 of them to stop the play.
Lamont Hollenquist and Richard Brown going at it.
That was fun. So it's going to be a first down for the Packers at the 34-yard line, and the defense, which hasn't given up a touchdown in over 2 games, starts off well again.
Super, and they went into the game trailing Dallas by just 5 yards and winning the title this year for best defense as far as yardage given up goes.
Dallas playing at Washington today. So it's a first down at the 34-yard line for the Packers. And there is Bruce Wilkerson at the left tackle spot for the Packers. Mark Chabert lines up outside him. And Brett Favre reaches back and says something to William Henderson, his fullback, on the first down play from the 34-yard line. Here's Brett, and he may have drawn him offside. Brett back to throw, quick pattern up to the right side, caught at the 40, and then drilled on the play is Antonio Freeman. But I think that'll be a 5-yard penalty that drew the Minnesota Vikings offside and gives the Packers a first down and 5. Red Cashin says that's exactly what has happened on the play, so it becomes a first down and 5 if they want to take the penalty, and that's what they will want to do. Fernando Smith, Ezra Tuaolo, John Randall, and Derek Alexander across the front for the Minnesota Vikings. This is a good defensive unit.
Yes, it is. A couple changes there, too, Jim. Fisk will go for Tuaolo, and Harrison goes for Alexander.
Yeah, they kind of...
Couple new faces.
Fisk and Tuaolo have slipped back and forth. Fisk, by the way, has 41 tackles so far this season, so he's seen a lot of playing time for Minnesota. First down and 5 at the 39-yard line for the Packers out of an I formation. Here is the ride and the handoff to Edgar Bentley. 45 midfield. And he's down at the 47-yard line. Hit and dropped by Orlando Thomas, but what a hole on the left side.
Classic lead play where Aaron Taylor and Frankie Winters double the nose. William Henderson up, and he kissed loudmouth Jeff Brady right in the mouth.
14 yards on the play. Brady has really been spouting off a little bit about what he wants to do in this ball game.
Yeah, I agree with that, Jim, but I'll tell you, that was great blocking up there. They block like that with the fact that the Vikings don't have their best defensive line. We'll make a lot of yards.
First down at the 47-yard line in Minnesota territory for the Green Bay Packers. Again, out of the I formation, receivers to the left and right. Now Antonio Freeman widens out a little bit more to the left side for the Packers. Brett Favre back to pass. Looks everybody off. Now dancing around. In trouble a little bit. Now still in trouble. Dumps it off upfield. Great catch, Henderson. 45-40. 35 to the 30 and to the 27-yard line. And what a great read between Henderson and Brett Favre.
Brett Favre had an out and up on the left side here, Jim. They blocked him out. He had no shot. He got back and made a fantastic play to hit that fullback.
Henderson wouldn't stop, would he? He just kept moving, trying to get open for
I'll
Brett.
tell you what, he is a scary sight for any defensive back as he breaks into the open field.
Ball down to the 28-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. Brett was looking all over every place, trying to find somebody open to throw the ball to, and Henderson kept moving until they forced a separation. Then he was able to hit the right seam. All right, first down at the 28-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. The Packers off to a great first drive start. I formation, receivers left and right, and 2 of the Packers jumped on that play. And so that will be an illegal procedure on the part of the Green Bay Packers. It'll move it back to the 33-yard line. By the way, congratulations to Jason DeLang of Boston, Wisconsin, the winner of an Arctic Cat Puma Deluxe snowmobile from the Arctic Cat dealers. Remember, Arctic Cat clothing makes a great Christmas gift for the snowmobiler on your list.
My old buddy Jesse Whittington is in the booth now, Jim. You remember
Jesse,
him?
Come back here, Jess. How are you? I used to live across the street from him.
I know it.
How you doing, Jess? So good to see you.
I used to hang out at his bar about 40 years ago.
I tell you what, and he can hit the ball straight. Every time he swings that golf club, it goes
I thought
straight.
you were going to say, and he can hit the sauce.
A little of both.
First down and 15 from the 33-yard line for the Packers. 3 wide receivers now out on the pattern for the Packers. Here's Brett on the handoff. Goes right to Dorsey Levens to the 30, the 25, to the 20, and near a first down at the 19-yard line. Little sweep to the right, and Dorsey made the right cut when the hole opened up.
And a hole is correct, and Larry can tell you about that because there was a big running room there.
Yeah, Adam Timmerman pulling from his right guard spot, leveling the force man, and then real good hustle downfield by Frankie Winters, picking off one of those Vikings.
Frankie got some mud or something in his eye, had his helmet off, and he's looking at it. I think he's all right, though, and they may have to go to Jeff Dellenbach.
Frankie Winters is stronger than dirt.
And that dirt is exactly what he had in his eye because I guess he fell down right on his mask and got a little mud in his eye.
Second down and about 1.5 yards to go. That was a gain of 13 yards on the play by the Packers. Andre Rison splits to the right side, Freeman to the left on second and short yardage for the Packers at the 20-yard line. In motion to the right, the handoff on a delay to Edgar Bennett. He's gotten the first down. He drives it to the 16-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. Off the left side, that time it was behind Taylor and Wilkerson for a gain of about 4 yards. Not a big hole, but enough to make a little dent in the line.
I think you could say from this first series, the Packers are controlling things at the line of scrimmage, and we can see it by the yardage gain.
And you know what? That's exactly what they didn't do the last time they played the Vikings. I'll tell you, they're trying to make a statement today. They're just getting off that ball as good as I've ever seen them.
33 yards rushing in this first drive by the Green Bay Packers. So it is going to be a first down at the 16-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. Rising again to the right, this time 3 wide receivers. Beebe is a slot on the left side, inside Antonio Freeman. On first down, here's Brett Favre, the handoff. It goes to Levens, trying to get the corner, never got the corner, and he's drilled back at the 19-yard line. Good defensive play by Robert Griffith, who came up from the safety spot and made the tackle, and he's made a few of those, 95 this year.
Bruce Wilkerson couldn't get the defensive end sealed, and then Antonio Freeman, the Packers expect their wide receivers to block. Antonio Freeman couldn't get his block either.
Second down and a loss on the play of about 1 yard. They put the ball down at the 18-yard line, make it 2 yards, so it'll be second down and 12. We have 9:14 to go here in a scoreless first quarter. The Packers are on their first drive. Minnesota went 3 downs and out. To the right side, Andre Rison. And a wing on the right side, the tight end, is Mark Chimura on second down and 12. And Minnesota cheating at the line of scrimmage. Brett gets some time over the middle. It is caught by Chimura, close to a first down at the 7-yard line. Somebody picked up the blitzer, and Brett stepped away from him, and then Chimura went straight downfield, and he hit him with a pass.
Darryl Talley on the blitz, and I'll tell you, Brett is hot today because he picked that up immediately and knew exactly where to go.
Packers faking the lead play they ran earlier with success, and that always opens things up for the passing game, particularly the tight ends, because it takes the linebackers out of the mix.
They're going to bring the sticks in to see whether or not that is a first down. Well, Brett Favre has the drive to win. And so does your local Bergstrom dealership. 21 locations throughout Wisconsin. They have thousands of cars and trucks to choose from. Bergstrom, for the love of driving. And they'll put the stick down, and it looks as if it's about 3 inches short of the first down. It'll be third down and short yardage for the Packers. Let's see, they're going to bring it into the middle. It's just about 2 or 3 inches for the first down. 8:41 remaining here in the first quarter. No score in the ball game, but the Packers with a good drive going at the moment. Remember, the Packers don't have to win this game in order to win home field advantage, but if they are to lose, they would have to lose by less than 19 points in order to get the home field.
Perfect spot for a little bootleg here or a rollout.
I know you love this play.
I love
this is never a running play with
If they had more room, he'd say, let's go for the bomb.
Yes,
I mean,
right.
I know it.
Yeah, what a great opportunity.
Third down, short yardage for the Packers at the 7-yard line of Minnesota. Favre, the quarterback, waits for the snap. Outside, and a sneak goes by Brett Favre down to about the 5, and a first and goal. To the outside on motion went Edgar Bennett, And Brett just took that step to the left. He loves to run behind Aaron Taylor and Frank Winters on the left side.
That's right, and they got a good push. The key is staying low, which they did.
See, Coach Holmgren is saving that play for the Super Bowl.
He sure is.
We're not going to show it yet.
First and goal at the 5. Now, this is the bootleg play right here, right?
No.
Okay. First and goal at the 5-yard line for the Packers.
The Vikings are the 14th best team in the league in the red zone for the NFC, rather.
High formation for the Packers. Here's Brett Favre. He hands it to the second man. Bennett dives. Touchdown. Edgar Bennett. Straight up the middle. And I mean to tell you that the Minnesota Viking defensive line was absolutely shredded.
Well, the offensive line, I've never seen them get off the ball this way, Jim. And Bennett hit it so hard. A great-looking play.
He started diving, Larry, at about the 3-yard line because there was nobody between him and the goal.
I think he just took the dive for sport, so for the judges to score it. I mean, because there was nobody there.
Bennett goes 5 yards for the touchdown on a terrific drive by the Packers that covers 66 yards in 8 plays. Now the try for extra point by Chris Jackie. Ball is down and a kick is on the way, and the kick is up through and good. 7-0 the Packers. Timeout back after this. This is the Packer Radio Network.
Dear Packer fans, yes, there is a Santa Claus. And yes,
Mike Holmgren in that opening 15-play script really go to the running game strong. He wants to build that thing for the playoffs. It's going to be at Lambeau.
So Craig Hendrick will get his second kickoff of the day.
I tell you, that was a pretty awesome first drive here. As you said earlier, we haven't had many first drives that look like that.
It's been a while since they took that opening drive. Last year, that was a trait of the ball club, but this year it hasn't been that so much. All right, here's Hendrick on the kickoff. Morrow to the far side, and Amp Lee is on the near side for Minnesota. And again, a line drive that is going to go to Morrow right at the goal line. He catches it there, slipped a little bit, gets back to the 10, looking for a hold of the 15, slipped down again, and is drilled at the 19-yard line. Drilled right at the 19-yard line. Good coverage by the Packers. We're going to take a timeout on the field. It's 7-0 Green Bay. Back after this word from your local station. This is the Packer Radio Network.
well,
That return, it's a little slick down there towards the end zone.
Yeah, and I've been noticing some of the Viking defensive linemen during the Packers drive were slipping around a little bit. Definitely, Dave, the advantage goes to the guy who knows where he's going.
All right, so it's a first down for the Vikings at the 18-yard line. A single running back, 2 wide receivers, and here's the ride, the handoff to DeRoy Hort. He comes back against the grain on his feet at the 15, broke a tackle, and gets back to near the line of scrimmage. Finally brought down by Sean Jones. They had him trapped back at the 15-yard line. He just kind of kept dancing until he got back to the line of scrimmage.
It was appropriate that Jones made the play because he started the thing by taking away the running lane to begin with. He stuffed Todd DeSoucy into the backfield.
Second down and 10 yards to go for the Minnesota Vikings. Newsom is on the left corner, Evans on the right. These two guys have played terrifically all season long. I formation this time. In motion to the outside goes the tight end. And here's a quick pattern by Brad Johnson. He gets it to Chris Carter, hit at the 20 and brought down. Stopped first by Brian Williams and finished off by George Kuntz, but Williams was right on top of the play.
I tell you, the Vikings finding this defense a little tough to move the football on here today.
So it is going to be third down and 8 for Minnesota. The Packers leading 7-0. We have 6:45 to go here in the first quarter of the game from Lambeau Field. And what an enthusiastic crowd there is out there today.
Boy, they all have great anticipation for this team, Jim. They can't wait to get back 2 weeks from today.
Third down and 8, Minnesota from their own 20. Brad Johnson, the quarterback. Waits for the line. And now the Packers are saying somebody's moving, and Sean Jones says it's the left tackle, and that's going to cost Minnesota 5 yards. By the way, we have visiting in our booth now. Let me see if I can get all these names correctly. Andrea Simonecki and Richard Simonecki, and Angie Friday and Jerry Friday. They are from Milwaukee. These are Target employees, fellas, who, because of their good work, their hard effort, were rewarded with the ability to come to the game today and be in the booth. Congratulations to all of you. Congratulations.
Yep. They were hoping for cash and all they got
they got it to the booth. That's all they got. All right, it's going to be third down and about 13 yards to go.
Isn't that pay less, get more?
Here is the pitch out to the right. It is caught by the running back, but he's bumped out of bounds at about the 24-yard line on a good defensive play by Wayne Simmons. That's a nice play. Or somebody, I'm not sure it was Simmons.
Down.
There is a flag on the play, and the man who was the running back was Charles Evans, who caught the ball out of the backfield. Apparently, this penalty is a holding foul against the Packers. That'll be an automatic first down for the Minnesota Vikings. Let's listen to Red Cashin on what the play is. Brad Johnson had already started to the sidelines, but they're going to tell him that it is a holding penalty against the Packers, and that's too bad. That was a 3rd down and long, and they were stopped.
Holding before the pass. Number 37 on the defense. 5 yards. First down.
There it is.
Well, he had Chris Carter by the jersey. It was so obvious, and I don't know why he was holding on to him so tight.
Before the pass, that's what holding is on a throw downfield. The ball is not released yet when you're holding the defender. So it's a 1st down for Minnesota at the 20-yard line in their own territory. 7-0 lead for the Packers. 5:55 to go here in quarter number 1. Brad Johnson, play action fake, looks, quick slant pattern, comes inside and sliding to the turf after the catch up at about the 31-yard line. Let's see who it was that caught the ball.
Jake Reed.
It was Reed who came in on the inside on the slant. Reed, by the way, was questionable about starting today's ball game because of a hamstring, but now he is in there. The ball's at the 32.
You can see he went down pretty quick, too. He didn't look for any contact.
They get a 1st down at the 32-yard line. Their 2nd 1st down of the ball game, 1st without a penalty. Brad Johnson sends a man in motion to the outside. That's the tight end, and the handoff to Horde. Horde hit right in the
Whoa, was he hit?
The 30-yard line. Somebody drilled him. It's either Williams or down at the bottom, Sean Jones. He was hit by at least a couple of guys.
Brian Williams did a great job of taking on the lead blocker and stuffing him into the ball carrier.
So it is going to be 2nd down, a loss on the play for Horde. Horde, by the way, came in averaging 4.3 a game. 379 yards since he started playing in about the 5th game for the Minnesota Vikings. So it'll be 2nd down. Listen to the crowd yelling defense. 2nd down and 12 at the 30-yard line for the Minnesota Vikings. 4:41 left in the quarter. Man in motion to the outside, Chris Carter. Here's the handoff to Horde. Slides through an opening. Nice run by Horde all the way out to the 37-yard line before he can be hit and dropped by Kuntz at that play. But that is about 5 yards shy of the 1st down.
That time, Charles Evans, the lead blocker, got the best of Brian Williams. Williams ended up on his backside.
Packers have a tremendous window of opportunity in this game, and Verhalen Incorporated, your Pella window store, has a tremendous selection of windows for any window project. Pella Windows, a window for every home at a price for every pocketbook. 3rd down again, Minnesota. About 5 yards to go, and the Packers need a stop here to get the ball back rather quickly. And a single running back. Here's Brad Johnson. Short drop, no pressure. Now it breaks down. He runs to the right side, dumps it off upfield. 1st down by the Minnesota Vikings. Johnson's ability to scramble. He threw the ball to Amp Lee, and Simmons caught him and brought him down, but not before he got to the 45. And a 1st down for Minnesota, and a good play by Brad Johnson.
Well, it was, and he could have ran for the 1st down just as easy, Jim, but he dumped it off. Good
That doesn't
play.
help your passing statistics.
No, that's right. It doesn't help your body either.
He is hitting, by the way, 64% of his passes, 16 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. So he has played well. That's why he got the $4 million contract. 1st down at the 45. In motion to the outside goes the tight end. Back to pass is Johnson. Johnson flips the ball upfield. It's broken up, and a good play by Chris Carter. That ball was headed. It was fluttering after being hit at the line of scrimmage to George Kuntz, and Carter reached over and knocked it away. Great play by Chris Carter.
Well, it really was. It wasn't intended to him. It was intended to somebody else, but he saved an interception.
So far, we've seen the Vikings taken out of what they want to do, and that's pound Leroy Horde. Have not been able to generate a ground game whatsoever, so they're resorting to the pass.
2nd and 10 at the 45-yard line for Minnesota. 3:15 to go. Very quick 1st quarter of this ball game. Up under calling the plays is Brad Johnson for the Vikings. Here's Brad straight back in the pocket. Looks. Oh, the defender slipped and fell down. The ball over the middle. Dropped by Jake Reed. Reed had that ball in his hands.
He will not get up.
And he really got hit by Craig Newsom and Eugene Robinson as he came over the middle, and he's slow to get up. He's not quite ready to come up yet. Now he will come up. It'll be 3rd down and 10 for Minnesota.
That is a great message to send early in the game, that if you come over the middle, you're going to get your head knocked off.
It is Eugene Robinson who hit him first, and knocked. The ball had already gone away. He should have caught the ball.
Oh, absolutely.
He did not catch the ball. A good throw by Brad Johnson. 3rd down and 10.
He knew there were enemies around him.
If you depend on your car to perform, depend on 76 gasolines to keep it a performance
Got
car.
a bad case of alligator arms.
Yeah,
no kidding.
3rd down and 10, Minnesota. Got a slot on the left side, and David Frisch. Back to pass goes Brad Johnson. Threw it over the middle to Amp Lee, and he got a 1st down underneath. Eugene Robinson knocks him down at the 43-yard line.
Packers blitz both Wayne Simmons, the lone linebacker in their defensive set, and Leroy Butler. That's why the receiver was so wide open underneath.
This is one of the better-looking football teams we have seen offensively in the last few weeks, and they are doing a lot of things right on 3rd down.
I think you're looking at two pretty good football teams here, Jim.
On third down, they've completed 43% of their third down tries. That's an awfully good record.
Gilbert Brown slow to get up.
Now Brown is down slowly, and let's see whether or not they're going to take a break or not. Gilbert is slow in reacting and getting down. And they are going to take a timeout. We'll take a break. Back after this on the Packer Radio Network. Converted 3 third down plays. To the sidelines has gone Gilbert Brown, and Darius Holland has replaced him at tackle. First down out of an I formation. Here is a play action fake by Brad Johnson. Looks, comes to the sideline. Carter wide open, touchdown for the Minnesota Vikings. Craig Newsome, for some reason or other, lost Carter down the sidelines, and Carter was wide open. Craig Newsome is going towards the official and yelling at that official as he goes past him. I don't know whether Carter pushed him or what, but he didn't like what happened, and Carter was wide open down the sideline.
Oh, he was totally nobody around him, Jim, so something had to happen to the defender. He either had to slip or something.
Well, let's see if we'll get a relook at it. Now, here we'll get a look on the side. Here is Chris Carter. And that's what Carter, well, I don't know what happened there. Carter just kind of...
I think Newsome is claiming Carter pulled his shirt, kind of like a defensive lineman arm over.
Carter's done that his whole career. The ball is down, and the try for extra point is up and good. We have a tie ball game at 7-7, and we'll take a break and be back after this on the Packer Radio Network.
In the beginning, skiers rule the slopes, then slowly...
We're going to be physical with you because Chris Carter is a physical-type football player.
I agree, and a lot of times you're going to have more than one guy on Chris Carter because he can catch anything.
And Carter knows the tricks of the trade. Not afraid to grab a shirt on the inside to get the edge, and that's just what he did right there.
I'm sure he did a little cheating, but he didn't get caught.
Pittsburgher will
That's
kick
the
off.
bottom line, isn't it?
Ball rolls off the tee, and so we will have to do it again. And we'll remind you that quality, great selection, and the lowest overall prices are the reasons you should make Roundy's Pick and Save your one and only food store. For the best overall value, shop at Roundy's Pick and Save. When it comes to price, they're still talking low.
Berger third in the league at kickoffs for touchbacks, but it might be tough to do in today's conditions.
I think Gilbert Brown just had a cramp.
Right.
That's what his problem was. But, you know, Dixon Edwards came out with the linebacker for the Vikings, came out with a knee injury, which doesn't sound good.
You know what? And you're going to have to get to the quarterback of Brad Johnson. You give him time, he obviously can throw the ball.
Oh, yes.
Here is the kick by Berger, and this is a low spinner that bounces at the 10. Picked up by Beebe on the run to the 20, to the 30. Still on his feet, looking for a hole. Ran into his own man, still on his feet to the 40. Fumbled and loose somewhere around the 45-yard line. I don't know who got it.
Packers had it.
At the 45-yard line, Minnesota says it's their ball, and the Packers say it's theirs, but Minnesota says it belongs to them. We'll wait and see. Beebe got all the way to the 40, and the ball came flying loose at the 40-yard line. We're still waiting. No decision by the officials. This is what plagued the Packers in the first game. Minnesota says it is their ball, and so do the officials. The Minnesota Vikings will take over at the 45-yard line. Beebe with the fumble. It appeared that the Packers had a good shot at the ball, but somehow the first man down after it couldn't come up with it.
I thought that...
Go ahead. No, I say the first man down there was a Packer, but they took it away from him.
I thought it might have been Travis Jervey with the first shot at the ball.
No, I think it was 55 for the Packers who had a shot at the ball, and the ball got loose from him. That was Bernardo Harris. So now they give the ball to the Minnesota Vikings at the 46-yard line, and there's the first turnover of the day, and the Packers turn it over, and the Vikings take over. So the Vikings with excellent field position. That was one of those scrums that take place after the ball gets loose on the ground.
It is so dangerous when you're in a crowd these days. They try to take the ball away from you. They don't try to tackle you. They try to tackle the ball, and that's what happened.
Here's Brad Johnson on a handoff. Flea flicker comes back to Brad. He's deep in his own territory, rolling right, fires the ball upfield and threw it out of bounds.
Whoa!
And hit on the play was Jake Reed at the sidelines, and he and Newsome are having words, but he's a live player there, and Newsome hit him just as the ball flew over his head.
I'll tell you what, they really wanted Chris Carter down the middle on that one, but both Roy Butler and Doug Evans did a fine job of taking him out of it.
Scotty Graham was the man who took the ball on the snap or on the handoff, and then he threw it back to Brad Johnson, and again, the flea flicker didn't work. And Newsome sent him sprawling to the outside. I think that's a perfectly legitimate play. So it is going to be a second down and 10 at the 46-yard line for Minnesota. And Minnesota has a lead blocker in the backfield in Greg DeLong. And here is the fake and then a handoff up the middle and diving to about the 43-yard line to Roy Horde for a gain of 3. It'll be third down and 7. Mike Pryor and Tyrone Williams now report in for the Packers. Santana Dotson slow getting up at the line of scrimmage.
Gilbert Brown back in the game and making his presence felt. Right?
By the way, if you saw the enthusiasm of Minnesota on that recovery, you know they are here to play.
Yes, and I was talking to their management before the game. They really want to win this football game.
3rd down 7 at the 43-yard line of the Packers for Minnesota. Single running back for Brad Johnson. Back to throw. Reggie trying to get to him. He's going to throw it long over the middle. There are defenders there. Eugene Robinson couldn't get to it. It was intended for Chris Walsh down the left side, and Robinson had it well defended, even though it went through his hands.
Yeah, that was one of those passes. He threw it up there just hoping that Walsh could take it away from the defenders, but well defended.
Late pressure by Santana Dotson.
Well, the Packers will then force the Minnesota Vikings to kick the ball away. The Wisconsin and Volkswagen dealers want to put you in the driver's seat of a Jetta GL. Come on in for a test drive. Call 1-800-DRIVE-VW for a conveniently located dealership near you.
Vikings worst in the league at covering punts.
So the ball is going to be kicked, however, from the 43-yard line by Mitch Berger. Berger gets a good snap from center. He'll just try to, no, he's going to drive it. Look at this.
Right.
He drove it to the sidelines, and the ball is going to go. Did it go in the end zone or not?
He got it back.
Saved? At the 4-yard line, says the official. Where are they going to mark the ball?
3-yard line.
Well, they're going to take it out to the 3. You're right, to the 3. I didn't know whether he got in there or not to save it, but the officials say that he did. In fact, they're going to put it at the 2-yard line, and Minnesota is playing heads-up football. There's no question.
He definitely batted the ball back, Jim. It crossed the goal line, but he batted it before he stepped on the line, and that's a legal play. Look at where that ball.
Chris Walsh is the man who made the save. The ball down at the 2-yard line, where the Packers will take over with a first down. Well, this Packer broadcast comes to you from our friends at Quick Trip. This holiday season, give the perfect stocking stuffer. Quick Trip gift certificates. Give the gift of gasoline. Available at your neighborhood Quick Trip stores. 1:05 remaining in the quarter, and we have what on the scoreboard?
Well, I'll tell you, the Pittsburgh at Carolina 7-0. Another interesting game. Chicago, Tampa Bay 7-7. Philadelphia, our man Detmar has got them ahead of Arizona 10-0.
Here is Brett Favre deep in his own territory at the 2-yard line. This is a tough position for the Green Bay Packers. Brett on first down, goes back in the pocket to throw. Quick pattern to the outside. Keith Jackson to the 10 and a first down at about the 13-yard line. Close to a first down if he didn't get it. So a nice play by the Packers. And the catch by Keith Jackson with less than a minute to go here. And for Keith Jackson, that is a total now 39 receptions on the season. And in a 2 tight end situation as the Packers have here, 39 is an awful lot.
Little square out by Mark Chmura. Jeff Brady trying to cover it. Very difficult for any middle linebacker.
So it is going to be a first down at the 13-yard line for the Packers. 27 seconds left in the quarter. Waiting for the snap. Brett Favre looking over the defense, now changing the play at the line of scrimmage. And 5 seconds to snap the ball. Here's Brett, had it and got it off in time. Now looks, now runs back to the left, now still looking. Throws a down and out pattern intended for Freeman. Caught it at the 45 to the 50-yard line. What a throw, hung up there by Brett Favre, and Freeman made a great adjustment to the ball.
I tell you, just nobody in the world could have done that, Jim. Brett Favre just made the greatest pass I've ever seen, directly on target. What a throw.
And that's the end of the first quarter with the score 7-7. Back after this on the Packer Radio Network.
Packers! Please note the word fan is derived from fanatic. See Packer fan. To soothe their insatiable desire for news about their favorite team, the Milwaukee...
One of those rare situations at the end of the quarter, they didn't have to move the ball. It was right on midfield, and so they just moved the teams to the other side. The Packers have a first down at midfield, and a great first quarter for a spectator to watch football.
Oh, really, Jim? Both of these teams, good offense, good defense, just good football, and that's something we expected today. I expect this to be a great game today.
First down at midfield for the Green Bay Packers. 7-7 ball game. And here's Brett Favre, 2 wide receivers to the right, and they had a wing on the left. Back goes Brett to throw, fires the ball upfield through the arms of Antonio Freeman, thrown a little high by Brett. Now we got some real battling going on.
Got Aaron Taylor, Adam Timmerman, and John Randall mixing it up.
By the way, fans, it's time for the Quick Trip Quick Score Contest. Today's contestant, Jenny Bonds from Madison, Wisconsin. Jenny Bonds thinks that Don Beebe will be the first Packer to score in the second quarter. Jeannie will win a year's supply of gasoline if that happens. To enter, stop at your neighborhood Quick Trip stores throughout Wisconsin. This holiday season, give the perfect stocking stuffer. Quick Trip gift certificates. You can give the gift of gasoline, available at your neighborhood Quick Trip stores. So it is going to be a 2nd and 10 at midfield for the Packers. 7-7 tie ball game, and Minnesota showing some spark. Here's the handoff. Edgar Bennett turns it upfield. He got 5, still on his feet, drives forward, got 10, 11, 12. He got 12 yards because Maxey kept his feet turning on the play.
I tell you, having one of his best days, Jim. He's really moving those feet, and he's running over people.
Fine job by Earl Dotson opening the hole. Fine job by William Henderson coming up and busting Robert Griffith, putting him on the ground, then Edgar Bennett just doing the rest.
An entirely new dimension of the Green Bay Packers showing up here over the last 4 ball games, and that's the ability to run the ball for longer yardage.
That's right. Mike Holmgren's given a lot of repetitions, which has got to help in those January playoff games.
It's a first down at the 39-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. Tie ball game 7. Here is Brett Favre. Handoff to Edgar Bennett. Quick hitter on the left side for a couple of yards down to about the 37-yard line. Just hit it quickly off the left side.
Got to point something out. One of the keys for the Packers today was getting John Randall, the Viking All-Pro defensive tackle, blocked. We have not said his name a time today.
By the way, Kyle Hagnes is our Bud Packer payoff contestant here in the second quarter. Kyle Hagnes from Mount Vernon, Iowa. I want to tell you an interesting story about a Dubuque fan who came to the ball game against the Denver Broncos. Tell you that in a minute. Second down and 7 yards to go for the Green Bay Packers at the 37-yard line of Minnesota. Brett's going to change the play at the line of scrimmage, calls Andre Rison in a step or two, and waits for the snap from center now. He goes straight back in the pocket. Here they come. He's got some time. He releases the ball out to the right, and Freeman trying to get to it can't because he is defended by 2 of the Minnesota Vikings and no chance to get there. And Brett took a hard hit after he released the ball.
Vikings going with an all-out blitz. Brett obviously reading it ahead of the snap, changed the play, but they couldn't get it completed.
So it is going to be a 3rd down and 8. A Dubuque fan came here, Max, to the ball game against the Denver Broncos. In his enthusiasm to see Reggie White, he jumped onto the field at the close of the game. Now, you know that's going to be a fine by police. He was arrested and was fined. And I'll tell you about the letter the police got from it. It's going to be a 3rd down and 8 yards to go for the Packers. The ball down at the 37-yard line. Needs a big play right here. Man in motion to the near side is Antonio Freeman. Back goes Brett to throw it. He's chased out of the pocket. Swings a screen off to Antonio Freeman. Freeman's got the 35. Oh, did he get drilled? And the ball comes loose at the 39. And Minnesota, do they have the ball or not?
I've never seen a hit like that.
They didn't call the play. I mean, Antonio Freeman really got leveled. And apparently Minnesota has recovered the ball, although nobody made that signal.
Corey Fuller, a big-time hit, as big as you get.
Freeman is up and on his feet. Holy cow, did he get hit.
I'll tell you,
Brett Favre goes up and says something to Corey Fuller, too.
Watch this hit. It's just incredible.
Oh,
wow.
Gosh. Boy, that one, fortunately, didn't hit him right in the head. Did they call that a catch or not? I can't tell you whether he caught the ball or not, but I do know.
I know what they'd have called it if it had been me. It had been an ambulance.
Oh, my goodness. So we have a timeout on the field, I believe.
No,
we're going to play ball, and the Minnesota Vikings take over. That's the 2nd turnover by the Packers today.
And that was something to watch.
So it's a 1st down for Minnesota at the 39-yard line. Man in motion to the far side of the field is Chris Carter for Minnesota. Here's Brad Johnson. Johnson on the handoff to Horde. Tries to slide through a hole. Caught from behind and dragged down by Reggie White for no gain on the play. Let me finish my story about the Reggie White deal and the Dubuque fan. He was fined a goodly sum, like $650. The police and the security here at the Packer game got a note from him. He sent cookies to the security people here, and he sent a check for $1,000 to Reggie White's fund on top of that. So that's a pretty good fan. He knew he'd done wrong, and he tried to make up for it. So our congratulations to that fan. Don't jump on the field. It could cost you $1,650.
And some
I didn't know it was that heavy.
Here is Brad Johnson back to throw on 2nd down. Brad tackled and lost yardage. He is hit and dropped by Sean Jones back at the 34-yard line. And a sack for Mack, and money to the Mack Fund compliments of Budweiser.
Sean Jones winning his battle with Todd Stussy. That time he took him upfield, then dipped inside for the sack.
So it is going to be a 3rd down at about 15, and the Packers are coming to life defensively. By the way, hello to Tom Maxwell and Gail Maxwell, and to Jerry Brickner and Jane Brickner. They are from our Jeep Eagle dealers in the state. I'll tell you about that in a moment, too. I got a lot of things to tell you today. 3rd and 15.
I got a couple of things also.
For Minnesota. Here is Brad Johnson back to throw. Here comes Sean again after him. Little screen set up and dropped by the intended receiver, Charles Evans. And Santana Dotson taps him on the head just to get his attention.
He got his attention. I almost got the officials' attention.
Yeah. There is no love lost between these two teams. Santana Dotson normally kind of easy going. He takes his courtesy shot.
I'll tell you what, 3 great defensive series out of 4 by the Packers. The other one resulted in a touchdown by Minnesota. A special happy anniversary to Jane's mom and dad, Jane Brickner, who is here today. Mike and Jane Donahue celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary and serving as babysitters today. Nice way to reward them.
Oh, in 50 years, I could run through 4 or 5 of them.
Here we go. You did. Here's a high kick, a floater. Desmond Howard, fair catch at the 28-yard line. The Packers will take over. Look at this. Look at this blocking downfield.
Oh,
and we still have some pushing and shoving going on.
That's it.
Now we got pushing and shoving upfield as well. We got a timeout on the field.
These guys don't like each other.
7-7. We'll be back after this on the Packer Radio Network. Some hard hits. They're playing football out here today. This is not a friendly game.
I'll tell you, that was whiplash. I don't believe that Freeman is up there, but he is. I'll tell you, that was a tough hit.
He'll just make him more determined. First down at the 28-yard line in their own territory for the Packers. Here's Brett Favre back to throw. Looks, pumps, now wants to go long to Freeman. Down the sidelines, Freeman is defended on the play by the cornerback. Couldn't clear any space at all, and Corey Fuller was there, and it's incomplete. I think that was Brett trying to help Antonio Freeman get back at Corey Fuller and run a fly. And Fuller was there and equal to the task.
Well, I think so.
He tried to run a out and up and run a very poor pattern, frankly. He didn't fool anybody.
I think it was Mike Holmgren trying to get a big one on the Vikings.
I think so, too, but I just think that they were sending a little lesson there, but it worked to Corey Fuller's advantage on that particular play. So it's going to be a 2nd down and 10. 7-7 ball game, 11:51 to go here in the second quarter. Here's Brett Favre up under, waiting the snap from center. Play action fake, back to throw. Got some time. Dances around over the middle, incomplete. He was intending it for Freeman. Freeman stopped on the pattern and didn't come across where he expected him to go, and Brett had nobody to, well, he threw it where he thought he was going to go, and there was nobody there up about the 45.
Well, 3 plays in a row, he goes to Freeman. I think that tells you one thing.
By the way, congratulations to Dennis Hannell of Greendale for being the winner of the Packer Banker tractor from Simplicity Manufacturing. Dennis entered at Home and Garden Power Equipment in New Berlin. Remember, a Simplicity snow thrower makes a great Christmas gift. You know what's happened since those opening drives is the defenses of both teams have started to dominate the football game.
We knew that this Viking defense, if they get wound up, would be tough to beat.
2nd down. And 10 yards to go. Freeman is in motion to the outside this time, and back goes Brett to throw it, and he steps up in the pocket, now fires it up over the middle. It is dropped, almost caught, but then not quite. And again, Freeman having words. He went to Freeman 3 times in a row on that series, and Antonio unable to come up with the ball. That ball was catchable, I think, over the middle, but the Packers were unable to come up with it.
It was a bullet. Tampa Bay 21, the Bears 7.
You know what? I don't think that's a surprise at all. Tampa Bay really is building some momentum for upcoming seasons.
Yeah, they've had a great second half after a miserable start. Tony Dungy's going to get it done.
I think he's put his mark on the ball club is really what's happened down there in Tampa Bay. And by the way, Kansas City leads Buffalo 6-0, and that's like a playoff game there. Here it's 7-7. This is like a playoff game right now. Here's the kick by Hendrick. Hendrick with a high floater, and Ampli says fair catch, and a ball over his head. He goes all the way back to the 7-yard line to pick it up.
I'll tell you, it was wise of him to get on it because they would have stopped it on the 1 otherwise.
So it'll be back at the 7-yard line. A timeout in the ball game. We're tied at 7-all. This is the Packer Radio Network. This is a word from your local stations. You're going to have to show some offense to get out of here.
Well, it takes a very consistent team to make a 93-yard run. So the Packer, a 93-yard drive. There's so many things can happen.
First down, Minnesota at the 7-yard line. High formation, receivers to the left and right for the Minnesota Vikings. Here is Brad Johnson, play action fake on the first down, fires the ball over to the right side. It's caught the backfield, and it is Horde who catches it, and Simmons chases him down. Pretty good play by Simmons to stop him at the 15-yard line. He chased him all the way across the field.
Not unlike a lot of things the Packers do, send some receivers deep and run a running back behind them for an easy gain.
So it is going to be a gain of 8 yards on the play, 2nd down and 2 for the Minnesota Vikings. The crowd suddenly got quiet. Try to get him fired back up on 2nd down, Minnesota. Vikings will send Chris Carter out here all alone against Doug Evans to the left side. He goes in motion towards the line of scrimmage, now turns and comes upfield. Here's the handoff, and this one goes to Scotty Graham, close to a first down at about the 17-yard line before he is tripped and brought down. The man who made the tackle appeared to be Brown.
Yeah, Gilbert did a fine job against Jeff Christie, their center. Yes, he did a fine job just one-on-one defeating that blocker to get the first anyway, but you couldn't do it much better.
Red says that's a first down for the Minnesota Vikings. Today's Cole Department Store is your headquarters for great Packer merchandise. Jackets, sweatshirts, jerseys, and hats. If you're a Packer fan, we'll make it worth your while. Coles, that's more like it. We got a player down.
Sean Jones is down.
Sean Jones down for the Packers. Now, I believe we're going to take an official break, and we will. We'll take a timeout. Be back after this on the Packer Radio Network. First down at the 17-yard line. The Minnesota Vikings in their own territory. Brad Johnson looks to be changing the play at the line of scrimmage as he comes to the ball. Waits for the snap and hands it off to Horde. And Horde, hitting into the line of scrimmage, gets a couple of yards and no more than that. They stop him on the right side. Gabe Wilkins in on the play. Down at the bottom is George Kuntz and Brian. See who else was in there. Ron Cox in on the tackle at about the 19-yard line.
Cox in the ball game because the Packers jumped into their 3-4 defense. Fritz has been rotating his defensive fronts. That time they were in the 3-4, and they're going to change it up again right now.
Here comes Santana Dotson back into the ball game. Second down and about 8 yards to go for Minnesota.
Now the 4-1 and 6 defensive backs.
This time Carter is a slot on the right, and he goes in motion. Back goes Brad Johnson. He's going to hand it off. A little hole there, and Amp Lee finds that hole, but he runs in to a defender. The first guy to make the play, it was Eugene Robinson. Then he got help from Ty Williams up about the 23. That was a really quick reacting play by Eugene Robinson.
Vikings pulling David Dixon, the right guard, and trapping on Gabe Wilkins. Pretty decent hole, but like you said, Eugene Robinson filling quickly.
Really interesting. I was talking to Eugene Robinson this week in the locker room, and I said, really a bad deal getting traded from Seattle to Green Bay this year, wasn't it? He said, yeah, it just broke me up.
I'll tell you, he's been a nice addition to this team, no doubt about it.
Third down, about 3.5 yards to go for Minnesota for the first down at the 23-yard line in their own territory. Carter in motion to the right for Brad Johnson. Johnson on a quick drop, short drop, now dancing out of the pocket, dumps it up over the middle, didn't get to first down. Great play by the Packers, who played their positions well. That's Kuntz and Williams combining to make the hit on Leroy Horde for a gain of about 1.5 yards. Great play.
Tell you what, the Green Bay Packers playing a very physical style of defense today.
I want to welcome to our booth Dick Clark, Wendy Clark, and Tim Dunn. Tim Dunn of Carphones Plus, of course. We know Tim from a long way back, and glad that you're here. And Dick and his wife are here from Dean's Foods. Now I got that all right. Welcome.
Yeah, I was going to make the statement. That's the third pass they've completed on third down, short of a first down, Jim. That tells you a little bit of an inexperienced quarterback.
Here's Berger. And this is a low bouncing kick that Desmond Howard has to get away from.
Oh, what a bounce, though.
He couldn't get to it. It's at the 26-yard line where it'll be stopped and brought down. And there is a flag on the play at the line of scrimmage, however. Flag on the play at the line of scrimmage. You wouldn't want that to be against the Green Bay Packers. It's an ineligible downfield against the Minnesota Vikings. I think you'll make him kick it over.
Yeah.
I think you'll make him do it one more time.
You got Desmond back there with the threat of him going all the way at any moment. Of course you'd have him kick it over.
Our ball game brought to you by State Farm Insurance and the State Farm agents throughout Wisconsin. For all your family insurance needs, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You know, Desmond owns the NFL record for most yards in a season returning punts.
He does that. 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Packer Radio Network.
For Cumberland, Hayward, and all of Wisconsin's great Northwest, this is AM 1240 and 96.3 FM WJMC.
20-yard line to be kicked from there by the Minnesota Vikings. I got to ask Tim Dunn, what does Bupkis mean? It's in one of his commercials. I just wondered. He said it's not a Chicago linebacker. So Berger will try to kick again. Let's see. That ball was at the 26. Let's see what the penalty means. Here's the kick by Berger, and this one is returned.
That's a run back.
Desmond Howard at the 47 to midfield, and Desmond chased out of bounds at about the 49. That meant 25 yards on that re-kick.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Desmond right up there, caught it, headed out of bounds. Can't blame him.
All right, we'll take a break and be back after we pause for this. We're tied 7-7. This is the Packer Radio Network. They're good defensively.
I have talked to people that say they are the toughest of the rest of the teams in this division. They're the team to beat, other than the Packers.
Great field position at the 49-yard line for the Green Bay Packers. It looks as if it wants to snow or rain right now.
Let her snow. I don't care.
Gotten a little dark. First down at the 49-yard line for the Packers. Here is the handoff. Dorsey Levens tries to cut inside. A tackle does. 45 to the 40 on his feet and drives forward to the 36-yard line. You know what? I think Dorsey was surprised. He came to the outside looking for opposition, and Larry, there wasn't any there.
No, and because of some extra efforts by 3 people, Earl Dotson, Andre Rison blocking downfield, and Antonio Freeman, all 3 really held their blocks a long time.
Second quarter, Philadelphia 16, Arizona nothing. Jacksonville 10, Atlanta 3. Tampa Bay 21, Chicago 7. Houston 10, Baltimore 7. Cincinnati 10, Indianapolis 7. Remember, Indianapolis fighting for a playoff spot too. Kansas City 6, Buffalo nothing. It is the Jets 14 and Miami nothing.
Let's get rid of that Johnson down there.
First down at the 37-yard line. Here is Brett Favre, and the handoff up the middle to Edgar Bennett. They've gone back to the run. Edgar broke a tackle. 30, 25 down to the 22-yard line. He was stopped for a 2-yard gain and somehow pulled that limp leg loose and got himself down inside the 25-yard line.
Edgar's found his kind of weather. He just loves this cold weather. He's having the best day I've ever seen him have.
And there's something about Edgar physically that helps him on these poor weather days, and that's he keeps his weight over his feet. He runs with real good balance. It really helps him in sloppy conditions.
Plus, he greases them pants with Crisco.
I keep my weight pretty well over my feet. There's a little hanging over the front. I can't.
First down for the Packers at the 23-yard line. We're tied at 7-all, 6:31 to go till halftime. Here's Brett Favre up under, waiting for the snap. Brett play action fake. Looks, dumps it over the middle. It is caught by Henderson at about the 20. Let's see where they're going to give him. He gave a little ground back to the 22. That's a gain of about 3 yards. They were looking. Rison ran a fly pattern down in the end zone. I don't think he thought it was open enough, so he let that go. So it is going to be a second down and about 7. They'll give him 3 yards on the play down to the 20-yard line. Levens and Don Beebe come into the lineup, and out go Edgar Bennett and William Henderson.
Those kind of fly patterns, you're hoping for man coverage.
Right.
You get zone. It's tough to beat that.
So he just went to the dump off to William Henderson. So a second down, 7 yards to go. 5:49 to go here. The Packers have turned the ball over twice. Minnesota has not turned it over. Second down. Here's Brett Favre waiting. And a delay. Handoff to Dorsey Levens. Can't clear the traffic. Now does. And gets down to about the 17-yard line. If he had not bumped into basically his own man, he had some running room.
What happened on that? John Randall lined up right across from Earl Dotson. Kind of an unusual set for the Minnesota Vikings. And Earl had to take him way to the inside, and that's who Edgar bumped into.
So it is third down.
Or was it Dorsey?
About 4. Third and 4. It was Dorsey. You're right. And Brett's going to take a timeout. Brett, with 5:16 remaining here in the first half of the ball game, is going to take a timeout. That'll give us time to tell you that for your family's banking, rely on the best. Rely on First Financial Bank, currently the best bank in Wisconsin.
Illinois.
By Birds or something like that.
Not drinking. No,
yeah,
not
right.
drinking.
By Birds. It's going to be third down and about 4 yards to go from the 17-yard line. Man in motion to the near side, Antonio Freeman. Here's Brett back to throw. Quick dump over the middle. Drop. Oh, my goodness. Perfect throw to Antonio Freeman. And that is Freeman. He just dropped the ball. That ball was an easy first down out of the 11-yard line, and the Packers have to go for the field goal, and that's not what you want Antonio to do. No. I don't know whether the arm bothered him or not.
Antonio did everything right, beat Darryl Talley with a nice move to get open, but this did not get to the ball.
I think it wasn't the arm. It was that last tackle that almost ripped his head off.
Could very well be. All right, it's going to be a 35-yard field goal try by Chris Jackie. 5:11 to go, and again, Minnesota's defense stiffened down near the goal line. Ball is down, and the kick is on the way by Chris, and it's floating up, and it is good. And it is a 10-7 lead for the Packers with 5 minutes and 7 seconds to go here in the ball game's second quarter. And oddly enough, it has turned out now it's a defensive battle.
Yeah, we had our offensive spurt the first 2 possessions. Dave and Marv, they're all the Bergs, and they live here somewhere in Wisconsin.
Okay. Palm wants to be remembered. Listen to this. Palm wants to be remembered to everybody in his family. Palm wants to say hello to his wife and family up at Big Powderhorn. They're all skiing in 3 foot of snow up there. Here's the kickoff by Craig Henry. This is a high floater. This is going to be short. Morrow takes it at the 10. Back to the 15, to the 20, to the outside. Found a little hole and slides forward to about the 26, but the Packers really gang tackle him there, and he is brought down. The man who made the initial hit, I think, for the Packers was Lamont Hollenquist to make the tackle and drop him at about the 26-yard line. So the Packers go back on defense now, and the Minnesota Vikings trailing 10-7 with 4:57 remaining in the first half. Well, drinking responsibly is all. We had a lot of them that came in, and we appreciate you all thinking of us and the gifts that we got too. Here's the handoff, trying to slide to the outside. Horde Horde breaks the tackle across the 30 to about the 33-yard line before George Kuntz can help to bring him down, along with help from Wayne Simmons. But he's out to about the 33-yard line at a gain of 5 on the play.
That time Gilbert Brown tried to jump backdoor on the center, couldn't quite get there, back into the mix to make the play.
So it is going to be 2nd down and 4. Minnesota making its running game go on that play. Jake Reed and Chris Carter both come to the left side on this play. And out to cover him is Simmons. And here is the handoff up the middle, and driving forward across the 30 to about the 33-yard line is the, or 35 to about the 38 is Leroy Horde. And he's close to a first down. Red Cashin says it is a first down for Minnesota.
This is a style of football the Vikings have used to forge into the playoffs, win 4 of their last 5. Leroy Horde run in between the tackles.
And I'm sure that the Vikings are saying we're right on schedule where we want to be in this ball game. So it is a 10-7 Packer lead. First down, Minnesota at the 38-yard line, their own. Here's Brad Johnson faking and then throwing upfield and intercepted. Picked off by Newsom, 50 to the 45, to the 40, down the sidelines and out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. I believe that's where they're going to give him the ball, the 35. Craig Newsom with the pickoff. And the Packers in business at the 35.
Yeah, not a good pass by their new millionaire quarterback. He threw that one like he's worth about 2 bits.
Yeah, Brad Johnson missed Jake Reed, but hit Craig Newsom to the Packers' big advantage.
That's a pick and save Packers pickoff play, and that means another $100 contribution to the back fund from pick and save. And the first pick by the Packers today. And for Newsom, that will be interception only number 2 of this season. Interception number 2, but for the Packers, they got a ton of them. That's 26 on the interceptions. First down at the 35-yard line. Packers in great field position. Let's get this ball into the end zone. First down play, 2 wide receivers to the right. Here's Red on the handoff. Edgar Bennett trying to find the corner. Can't get around the corner and dropped at the 35. Good open field tackle by Robert Griffin. They got a couple of safeties that are good players.
Yeah, and that
for the
time
Minnesota
Vikings lined up so they outflanked the Packers. With the guys who were blocking got their folks blocked. We just didn't have enough folks.
You know what?
Griffin.
I thought if Edgar Bennett had turned that ball inside, he had a hole up inside. He tried to take it outside, but there was a hole inside on that play.
Yeah, he would have had a better chance of making some yardage.
Yeah. He tried to stretch it and couldn't get to the corner.
They strung it out pretty good. Credit the defense.
2nd and 10 at the Minnesota 35, and Minnesota playing strongly on defense. Rison is in motion to the outside for the Packers, and back is Brett Favre. Pumps. Now he's hit from behind and dropped at the 39-yard line. He pumped and was hit. He was looking for somebody to spring open. Derek Alexander got to him. That pump just took too long, and when he pumped, then there still wasn't anything there after the pump.
Yeah, there was enough protection there to complete a pass, but they were looking over at Mark Chmura and Keith Jackson, both well covered.
Again, trying to get it to Rison on a little stop and go, but didn't have time.
Well, this game's action brought to you by Kelly Tires and Pomps Tire Service, where you always get a good deal on a great tire. Kelly Tires.
Bruce Wilkerson getting beat to the inside late on that team by Derek Alexander.
3rd and 15 with 2:40 remaining here in the first half of the game. Packers still have 2 timeouts left. Minnesota has 3. So a lot of time left in the half. Here's Brett back to throw. Needs a big play. Brett stepping up. Now Brett running. Brett has caught from behind and drilled at the 40-yard line by Alexander again. He wanted to throw. He thought he could buy some time running, but Alexander made a great play to take the ball out of his hands.
Once again, enough time. They're getting good coverage downfield.
Who's supposed to be blocking Alexander? That's what I want to know.
He's been lining up across from Bruce Wilkerson, but again, Max, I thought he had enough time to look downfield. To throw on rhythm, he can get it out.
I agree with you, but this Alexander is a very active player.
Well, you know, he also got caught in not knowing exactly when he wanted to throw it. He didn't know how far he wanted to run with the ball. So the Packers are going to have to punt it. That was a break that went awry. They actually lost 6 yards in that series. 2 sacks of Brett. Here's Hendrick. Hendrick just trying to pooch kick this baby. And he's going to be down inside the 10. Now it's going to be fair caught at the 12-yard line by Minnesota's Amp Lee. So at the 12-yard line, we have a minute 58, the 2-minute warning. We'll take a break and be back after this from your local station here on the Packer Radio Network. That's the other game that we're watching for you this afternoon. Washington and Dallas is a late starting ball game, and Arizona and Philadelphia 16-0 still in the second quarter, Philadelphia. All right, here is the quarterback, Brad Johnson, from his own territory. That's back at the 13-yard line. Man in motion to the inside, and the handoff goes to Horde, and Horde to about the 15. Ran into Gilbert Brown at the 15, and Gilbert said, I think that's far enough, and stopped him right there at the 15-yard line after a gain of 2 in a minute 49. And Minnesota with 3 timeouts doesn't elect to use one right there.
So I think at this, excuse me, Larry, but at this position on the field, they'd like to get in at halftime without any mistakes.
Sean Jones doing a good job right there. Once again, beating Stussy on the running play, forcing that thing into Gilbert.
10-7 ball game. The Packers have to report tomorrow, but then they'll have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday off to celebrate Christmas. That's a nice plus for them. Man in motion to the outside is Charles Evans. Here's Johnson back to throw. Johnson in trouble, dumps it off over the middle, and a nice play by Horde to get to the 20, to the 25, and up the sidelines and out of bounds at about the 34-yard line. Boy, they almost had Brad Johnson, but he bought enough time to dump it off to Horde, circling out of the backfield. Now he gets him at the 34 with a minute 12, and they may have some new ideas.
And Horde doing a good job getting Brian Williams, making him miss to gain additional yardage, most of them, as a matter of fact.
Somebody had a chance to get him about the place where he caught it, yes. So it is going to be a first down at the 34-yard line for Minnesota. And when Horde got out in the open, he ran it very well. He's got good speed. First down, Minnesota at their own 34-yard line, a 10-7 lead for the Packers. Here's Brad Johnson. Johnson on the handoff to Horde again, knocked down right at the line of scrimmage. Well, that's a fine play by Gilbert Brown.
Gilbert Brown telling the Vikings, why did you cut me a couple years back when you drafted me in the 3rd round?
They don't take a timeout, but they go to a no-huddle offense. 2nd down and 9. Brad Johnson with 55 seconds remaining. He's still got plenty of time because he's got 3 timeouts. Here's Brad with a quick slant pattern to Jake Reed at the 40-yard line, and he's pulled out at the 41. And is he going to use a timeout or not? Yeah, does he do it or not? Now he does stop it with 40 seconds to go. Not a very good use of the clock by Minnesota there. They're to a 3rd down and about 2 now. And I guess they said, well, we got a chance here, so let's stop. And they do stop the clock.
When you get out near the 40, you might as well, with 40 seconds to go, you might as well go ahead and take a shot at it.
Yeah, you know, I thought timeout if Minnesota doesn't get the first down here. Here's Brad Johnson, the quarterback, with a man in motion. Brad goes back to throw, getting a little pressure now. Now fires it long upfield. He's got Jake Reed there, caught him over his shoulder, and I believe he made the catch at about the 28-yard line. What a throw by Brad Johnson. Well, and with 34 seconds now, they're in great shape.
That was a perfect throw, Jim. He threw it right on that line to where nobody could get it, and it put him almost in field goal range.
Had Reggie White stuffing Corey Stringer right into his lap and still completed a beautiful ball.
Yeah, you know, they just bought him enough time to rear back and throw that ball because they were right there at the play. And Doug Evans never did see the ball. Doug didn't control the ball or move on the ball very well.
Jim, was it you that said, why don't they throw downfield?
First down at the 28-yard line. Yeah, I should never have brought it up. 34 seconds remaining. They still have 2 timeouts. Here's Brad Johnson. Johnson back to throw it again. Johnson in trouble, dances off to the right and threw it away, although it was almost caught by somebody. That's Walsh coming back to the ball. Almost caught the ball. It's incomplete, and they used about 6 seconds on the play. So it'll be a 2nd down and 10 back at the 28-yard line with 28 seconds remaining.
This is a good old Central Division rock'em sock'em affair. It's cold. A lot of funny-nosed weather. It's unnatural grass.
And what hitting we've had today.
Yeah.
I mean, hard hits.
So it is going to be a 2nd down and 10 at the 28-yard line. Any yardage they get now makes a field goal within relatively easy range for them. Waiting for the snap from center is the quarterback, Brad Johnson. 3 wide, 4 wide receivers on this play. Here's Johnson back to throw. Got to get to him. Reggie comes that way, gets it off, however. Down the sidelines and out of bounds is Evans inside the 15 to about the 12. And now they got a chance with 22 seconds to go to get the ball into the end zone.
You're right. They can throw 2 or 3 passes into the end zone before they kick a field goal here. That was a big play for the Vikings.
Charles Evans with a big catch to put them in touchdown range down around the 12-yard line.
Wayne Simmons trying to stay with him man for man. Normally Wayne does a fine job for linebacker covering running backs. Not that time.
That's 22 catches by Evans, who's basically a blocking back. First down, Minnesota at the 12-yard line of the Packers. Split a receiver off to the right. That's Walsh. And then you got Jake Reed over here to the left and Carter in a slot on the left side. And Johnson back to throw on first down, but whistles. A lot of whistles, a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving. I'm not sure what went on, but what that generally means is illegal procedure on the part of the offense. Red Cashin will say it's false start.
False start.
False start on the part of the offensive team. That'll move it back to about the 17 or 18-yard line. And it becomes a second down. By the way, their field goal kicker, Scott Sisson, not a long-range field goal kicker, 21 out of 28. And as long as 44, so there at the 28, he was at the outer limits of his range until they hit that last pass.
I don't think the wind is going to help this field goal at all either.
First down and 15 back at the 17-yard line for Minnesota. Out of the backfield goes Ampli in motion to the left side. Now he lines up.
Oh,
he
the
never
Packers
got set.
are offside.
Here is the ball thrown downfield. It's intended for Chris Carter over his head. You know what? That was an interesting play. The man coming out to the left seemed to want to set. He stopped and never got set, but they threw the ball downfield. Nobody's called for anything, Max, with 17 seconds to go.
If you look at Sean Jones, he jumped offside, but nobody called it.
Well, you know what? It may be because the guy over here on the right kind of screwed up things as well for their team, and he threw it out of the end zone. It's second down and 15, but he was going for the end zone for Chris Carter. Minnesota shows you a lot of spunk, I'm telling you. Carter goes to the right, Jake Reed to the left. On a second down and 15, back at the 17-yard line. Now they're going to line the tight end up over on the right side. That's Hunter Goodwin. And here's a play-action fake by Brad Johnson. Fires the ball upfield. Was it caught? No, incomplete.
Out of bounds.
Carter had his hands on it, but Newsome had the coverage on him. Hunter Goodwin, by the way, has caught one pass for 24 yards, and he was the man in motion on that play. So it's third down, Minnesota.
Goodwin's mostly blocker, less of a receiver. He played tackle at Texas A&M before joining the Vikings.
I'll tell you what, there's just absolute hand fighting going on between Newsome and Chris Carter down those sidelines. So it is going to be a third down, Minnesota. Need to get to the quarterback. Haven't been able to do that. That may be the key right here on this play.
Gabe Wilkins has checked in for Reggie, and you're right about that.
Third down.
We're getting a lot of late hits.
Brad Johnson has two receivers left, one to the right. And here is Johnson straight back in the pocket. They come around the corner after him. He was running with the ball and brought down at the 16-yard line. It was Sean Jones who ran him out of the pocket. He had to run with the ball, and they stopped the clock with 4 seconds to go.
Santana Dotson finishing the play.
Well, they stopped it. Minnesota took the timeout. Boy, they almost let the clock run out on them. And the ball is at the 16. This will make it a 33-yard field goal to tie it on the last play of the first half. That was Sean Jones who ran him out of the pocket.
Well, Sean Jones got him off balance by grabbing his jersey and probably saved a throw downfield anyway.
So Scott Sisson will be the man who will do the kicking. Today's game brought to you by Super America, the proud sponsors of the Super America Super Kickoff Contest, where you can win $6,200. By the way, our quick score contestant didn't correctly pick the first Packer to score in the second quarter, but maybe you can. Entered win a year's supply of quality gasoline. All right, so here we go. The field goal try by Scott Sisson. And this would be the last play of the first half unless there is a defensive penalty. This will be a 34-yarder by Sisson.
You know, I don't make him any better than even money here.
Well, we'll see what happens. Waiting.
Sounds like a guy that's gambled once or twice.
Berger is the man who's going to hold. Waiting for the snap. Little high. The ball is down. The kick is on the way, and the kick is good. He made it. So we're tied at the end of the first half. That'll be the end of the first half. It is 10-all, and it's been that close, folks. We'll take a break and begin our halftime after this on the Packer Radio Network.
Yeah, if it rains here, I'd be totally confused.
I know. Well, it could, though. It's up, what, around 31 degrees somewhere in that area right now. So it is going to be the Minnesota Vikings kicking off with the Packers, and it has happened 2 or 3 times. The ball falls off the tee.
The Vikings are not a bad cold weather team under Dennis Green. They're 5-2 in games under 40 degrees.
All right, the kickoff by Mitch Berger. This is just, it's not cold, folks. This is good. This is great weather for sitting in the stands if you're well covered.
Even better sitting in the press box with the window down.
Better on your couch at home listening to.
We got 2 Warriors over here with the window open.
Here we go. High floater that is going to be taken by Desmond Howard, and he grabs it at the 3. Comes up the right side to the 10, to the 15. There's a hole to the 25. Spins away to the 30. Still on his feet, 35-40, and out to the 43-yard line. My goodness, Desmond just kept running. He has good balance, Max. He can get bumped a little bit and hold that balance.
I tell you, he did put one good move on somebody there, but he's got that tremendous speed, and when he gets a little opening, I'll tell you, he can fly.
Got some nice blocking by Jeff Thomason and Lamont Hollandquist as well.
So the Packers start at their own 43-yard line on a nice kickoff return of 40 yards by Desmond Howard. First down, the Packers. And the ball resting at the 43. I formation, receivers left and right. Here's Brett, play action on the first play. Comes to the side. No, it's caught in the middle by Freeman at the 40. Down inside the 40 to the 35 of Minnesota. A bullet throw by Brett Favre, and Antonio Freeman had to catch that baby because it was thrown hard enough to leave a little piercing point in his chest.
But again, the Packers making their point early in the second half. Lately, that's been their half, and right off the bat, they're in scoring position almost.
Dwayne Washington, the Viking quarter, getting totally confused in his coverage that time.
I actually thought Freeman had gone to the outside like the cornerback did, and he ran the ball inside. So it's going to be a first down at the Minnesota 35-yard line, and the handoff goes up the middle. Edgar Bennett, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 yards by Edgar Bennett.
And a ref.
Maybe more to the 10. Where'd he go down? They're going to say he got it 11 to the 24-yard line. Who'd he run over?
The ref for one. Something that happens with the Vikings, their linemen take huge, big charges upfield, and when you split them, there are big gaps there to be run through.
Yeah, I've never seen Bennett hit the hole as quickly as he is today.
He ran over Al Conway, the umpire, on that play. It's a gain of 11, so the ball is down to the 24-yard line of Minnesota. Andre Rison to the left. You got Wings on the right. Here is Brett Favre back. Comes up the middle. It is caught by Chimura at the 20, and he dives down inside the 20 to about the 17-yard line. Chimura wasn't quite sure, Larry, where he ought to turn when he caught that ball. He had his back to the defenders, and he didn't know which way to go, and he turned it to the inside. That cost him a little yardage.
Yeah, Mike Holmgren getting creative on this one. They lined up Antonio Freeman in the backfield. He ran to the outside. They hit Chimura to the inside.
So it is a gain of 7 yards on the play. Second down and 3 at the 17-yard line.
Nice hustle by Earl Dotson getting downfield to pick off a scraggler or two.
Rison and Chimura go to the right side, but it is Chimura split out wide as a wide receiver, and so is Keith Jackson to the left. Here's Brett on the second down. They spread the field, and they drive it up the middle for a couple of yards to about the 15-yard line. They had Jackson split to the left side and Chimura split to the right. They were the outside receivers, and they had two inside receivers inside the tight ends. I'll get it right in a minute.
Maybe they lined up in the wrong place.
No, I don't think so. But they tried to spread the field, Larry, and then they ran it up the middle and got a couple of yards at it. Third down and 1, however, for the Packers, the toughest yard in football. And it's a good yard. They got to go. Well, no,
Dorsey Levin's 8 of 9 for these situations. On 3rd and 1, Dorsey's 8 of 9.
All right, here is Brett at the 15-yard line, and the pitch goes back to Dorsey Levins, trying to find the corner. He gets around and got it down to about the 12 or 13-yard line. Well, he did a good job. I thought it was stringing out too far, but then he made his move to get the angle, and he gets the angle to the 13-yard line.
Max, what do you think? I think Dorsey has that unique ability to be as fast as he needs to be on those outside plays. It always looks like they got the edge on him, but he makes the yardage.
I'll tell you, for a big guy, he's what I kind of call sneaky fast. You think you got him, and you look up, and he's gone.
Ball is at the 13-yard line. First down for the Packers. Henderson comes out of the lineup for Green Bay. Got to get the ball into the end zone. Put some pressure on Minnesota. Minnesota's playing so well in this ball.
Last 4 games, Green Bay has outscored their opponents 91-16 in the second half.
First and 10 at the 13. Brett straight back in the pocket. Here they come. Sets up a screen to the left. He gets an inside pick.
He's
to the 10.
He's going to score.
To the 5. Dorsey Levins, touchdown. And what a great block by Frank Winters.
You got
Winters
right.
took the last guy out and sent him 5 yards back into the end zone.
What a perfect screen, Jim. You can't set him up any better than that. And Dorsey Levin just set up his block, ran into the end zone, jumped into the stands, and
the Packers executed so well on that. He only needed really one block to get in the end zone, and Frankie Winters supplied it.
What a block Frankie Winters put on. Watch this. If you're watching on television, watch 52 downfield. Here comes Frank Winters. Watch the guy go backwards. There he goes, folks. He's turned the other way, in fact. All right, here's the try for extra point. The Packers lead at 16-10. The ball is down, and the kick is on the way, and the kick is good. 17-10. Timeout. Back after this. This is from your local station on the Packer Radio Network.
Thomas Marina Birchwood invites you to look over the selection of Evernude-powered Stratus and Sea-Nymph boats. You'll enjoy boating for years to come, whether your interest includes...
Down pass of the year by Brett Favre, 13 interceptions. Last year, he was 38 and 13, so he's right on target.
You betcha. And we got 27 minutes left to play in the regular season.
Now, here's the other statistic. I'm just loaded with them. That's 9 touchdowns for Dorsey Levins, 4 rushing and 5 receiving.
Dorsey has come into his own, and he's a guy that I don't know if they can sign all these guys because of free agency, but you'd sure like to keep that guy.
All right, Hendrick will do the kicking off for the Packers. 17-10 ball game. Here's Craig up over the ball and kicking. And a line drive, and he got a good foot into this one to the 2-yard line. They're taken by Morrow to the 10. to the 15, looks for a hole to the 20, drives forward to the 25, good leg drive to about the 27 or 8 yard line. Morrow stood up at the 27-yard line, and there the Vikings will take over. Well, today's game brought to you by the Time Corporation and its more than 500 participating financial institutions. Time, TYME, providing access to your cash 24 hours per day, 365 days a year at thousands of time machines located throughout Packerland. Well, Minnesota had a great drive to close the first half. Now they find themselves down again. So it's time to do some work right here defensively. First down at the 27-yard line, Minnesota. And in motion to the outside is Hunter. Back to pass goes Brad Johnson. Sets up a screen off to the right, and it is caught by Horde up the sidelines and still running. Where'd he go out of bounds? The official says all the way up to the 46-yard line.
Well, there was nobody there to push him out of bounds.
All the way to the 46, and we got to pack her down. I think it's Gilbert Brown, isn't it? Gilbert was trying to reach out for him, and Gilbert went down on the far side of the field. All the way up to the 46. Minnesota made a simple little screen really work that time because they didn't have outside coverage.
Well, the Packers used it. They thought, why not us?
Yeah, it was set up very well, almost as good as the Packers.
Brian Williams had the first shot at him, and Brian just couldn't get him on the corner. Horde got away from him. Brian's angle wasn't the right.
Leroy Horde has that ability to be as fast as he needs to be because he's certainly not known as a speed merchant, and Brian Williams can fly.
Timeout.
Either in any muscle, so hopefully it's a cramp and not a knee injury.
But if you depend on your car to perform, depend on 76 gasolines to keep it a performance car. Ball's up to the 46-yard line, and Minnesota gets good field position on one play to get them up into this area. Darius Holland has come on to replace Gilbert Brown for the Packers. In the middle, Reggie White along with Sean Jones and Santana Dotson out there for the Packers. Nope, Santana's out right at the moment. They're going with 3 down linemen. Nope, he's back in there. Got in and out quick. Here is the handoff to Horde. Horde tries to go up the middle, and he got maybe a half a yard. Maybe didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Holland with the tackle.
You know, Darius is a full-sized load in his own right. He's got a nice blend of strength, size, quickness, a whole package. And when he gets his opportunities, he makes some plays. That time he defeated the Viking center, Jeff Christie, just one-on-one.
By the way, while we've got an opportunity, let's wish all of you a very Merry Christmas. Hope you're with all of your loved ones at Christmas time and get a chance to just enjoy the season. It would be terrific for all of us. All right, it's going to be a second down and 10 at the 45-yard line. Here is Johnson, play action fake. Reggie coming after him. Oh, hit as he threw it, almost picked off. And it was Brian Williams who had a shot. It was intended for Amp Lee, but that man coming up the middle, Santana Dotson, made Brad Johnson get rid of it before he wanted to.
Well, again, the Packer defense in this second half, as they've done for the last few weeks, they're making their presence known. They're just not giving him any time to throw the football.
Dotson working against David Dixon, the big right guard for the Vikings. Dixon huge, Dotson quick, and that time quickness won out.
Third down and 10 at the 45-yard line. Minnesota, they made a lot of third down plays today. Packers need to stop him here and get the ball back from the 45. Here is Johnson dancing around, now running out of the pocket, now throwing it up over the middle, incomplete. He was trying to get Chris Waltz to break free, but he was under pressure, and he had to throw it away. And Reggie says, let's hear some noise, and he's got this crowd in his hand. They say, okay, let's do that.
Yeah, Reggie almost in there before he threw the ball, but went ahead and knocked the quarterback down, so he's
just
kind
for
of
fun to get his attention.
Yeah.
You're going to be with your daughter and your whole family on Christmas Day.
Well, yes, we're going to have a nice Christmas, and then we're off to Mexico where the sun shines. Puerto Vallarta. Ever been?
You going to work or be at home?
I will be at home for Christmas Day.
Well, that's a break for the family.
There's nothing wrong with being at home for Christmas Day, unless it's 40 below.
Here's Berger with a kick that's returnable to Desmond Howard. It's a low kick. Oh, he dropped it back at the 5. Now he goes back and picks it up. And he's going to have to run it out of the end zone from the 5 to the 10 to the 15 to the 20 to the 22-yard line. Maybe the 23. Desmond, I think, could have downed the ball in the end zone.
Absolutely, yes.
Because the impetus of the ball took it into the end zone. Timeout back after this. This is the Packer Radio Network. Changing the play at the line of scrimmage, and the movement by the Minnesota defense changed as well on first down. Here's Brett back in the pocket. Short drop, wants to air it out long. Throws it down the sideline. Up there trying to get to it and can't quite get there is Don Beebe on a fly pattern. Is Brett holding his hand or just warming his hands? He's warming his hands in that warmer down there. So the ball will come back to the 24-yard line, trying to open things up with a fly pattern. Beebe was just about a half step away from that ball.
He was. That was a great pass and a great run, but just a yard short.
And you can't throw downfield like that without some pretty solid protection up front. Good job by the guys in the O-line.
No, looking at that again, I'm not sure whether Beebe had totally picked the ball up or not, because the ball wasn't that far away from him. Maybe even into a dive position. Maybe he couldn't get his legs to do that. But it was out there for him. 2nd down and 10. Here's Brett, back, short drop look, swings the ball up the middle. It's caught by Andre Rison. First down at the 37-yard line. First catch for Andre of the day. Listen to the crowd respond to Andre. He ought to take some heat from that and feed off of that very nicely.
Yes, I would think so. He's fit in well here, Jim. He hasn't, from what I know, he hasn't made a lot of commotion about not being thrown to.
Rison run a little stop pattern on Dwayne Washington, and he can cut on a dime. He has got some real tools.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Just give him a pattern that he can catch, get him involved in the offense, and he makes the first catch of the day for him. First down, and they get the ball all the way out to the 37-yard line with 9:44 to go here in the 3rd quarter, and the Packers leading in the ball game 17-10 over a very good Minnesota team. Here's the first down play for Brett. Short drop, back throws. He's airing it out downfield. Caught, no drop. Antonio Freeman. Well, that's a great play by Robert Griffith, who came across and knocked the ball away. Either he or Orlando Thomas, the safety, came across. May have been Thomas, because Freeman was going to catch that ball and maybe score.
Great timing by the defender, Jim, because he got there just when that ball was going into Freeman's hand and knocked it out.
That's what I'm talking about, Larry. The good play of the Minnesota Vikings.
Hey, we got 2 good teams going at it today. I think this one might go down to the wire.
Let's watch and see. I think it was Orlando Thomas who got there. Yeah, it was Orlando Thomas. Otherwise, that was a big catch by Antonio Freeman.
But these teams could very well be playing here in about 3 weeks.
2nd down and 10. I wouldn't mind that, would you?
Oh, I'd rather play somebody else.
Would you? Here is the fake, a play, and he rolls it to the right, pitches it out to Chimura at the 40, to the 45, first down, 50, and all the way down to the 46-yard line. Pushed out of the pocket was the Packer quarterback and by Fernando Smith, but he got it away to Chimura on a beautiful play.
One of the Packers' favorite plays all season. Mark Chimura delays, blocks Fernando Smith a little bit, lets him go, and then Brett just puts the ball right over his head.
We got any later scores on the Carolina game? It was 14-9 in favor of Pittsburgh.
Well, they're still leading going into the 2nd half.
Well, that's probably no score. No scoring in the halftime, huh?
Very little.
Okay.
A couple of times we made it.
It's going to be a first down.
Horning did once.
The 48-yard line. Poor Paul. First down at the 40. No, just leave it right
there. It's a leading scorer in the league for years.
Here's the drop play up the middle. Broken tackle. And down to the 44-yard line by Dorsey Levens for a gain of about 4 yards. 2nd down and 6. He broke a tackle just behind the line of scrimmage.
Derek Alexander got a little penetration on Frankie Winters. They had Aaron Taylor pulling around that, leading the way, and Edgar is running very well, or Dorsey Levens rather, on that one.
This game's action brought to you by your Polaris snowmobile, ATV, and personal watercraft dealers. For outdoor fun before and after the snow, see your Polaris dealer. So it's going to be a 2nd down and about 6. The ball resting at the 44-yard line. Let's make it 2nd down and 7. One running back, and that's Bennett. He takes the ball on the handoff, cuts it upfield, leaps over a man and dives for a first down to the 35. Oh, what a nice play by Edgar Bennett. He jumped the pile, Max, to get himself a first down.
I just haven't seen Edgar look this good all year, Jim. He is ready to play some football, and what a good time right here in the playoff time. He's having a heck of a day.
I'll tell you what, when some of our guys get into a little push and shove, who's out there to help out? Brett Favre. He don't want anything to happen to his guys.
Nice blocking that time by the entire right side, in particular Earl Dotson.
We'll give you a station ID, 10 seconds. This is the Packer Radio Network.
For Cumberland, Hayward, and all of Wisconsin's great Northwest, this is AM 1240 and 96.3 FM WJMC, Rice Lake, Spooner.
First down at the Minnesota 36-yard line. Here's Brett. Short drop, quick pattern over the middle. It is caught by Rison, and a first down at the 25. Andre, that ball came in his head, Max, and he got his hands up just in time because that baby might have knocked his head off.
I'll tell you, that was a great catch because when you're running a slant with that much velocity, you got to have great hands, and he does have that.
Brett, his velocity is scary. When he wants to drill it, look out.
It is going to be a first down at the 25 of the Minnesota Vikings, and the 2 drives so far here in the 2nd half have been terrific for the Packers.
There's timing passes, touch passes, and there's tracers. Brett throws tracers.
That was a tracer. That was a laser beam. First down at the 25 of Minnesota. Split the 2 running backs. Brett Favre, the quarterback, sends a man in motion to the outside. Here's the draw play up the middle, given off to Henderson. Broke a tackle and drives his way down to the 22-yard line on the draw up the middle. They sent, that time, Bennett in motion out to the right side and came back up the middle with William Henderson.
Nice job by the middle three, Aaron Taylor, Frankie Winters, and Adam Timmerman, getting some push, enabling William to break it back to the backside for positive yardage.
Well, Dean Foods has been providing Packer fans with quality dairy and ice cream products for over 70 years. Dean's Milk and Ice Cream. You can taste how much we care. All right, it's going to be a 2nd down and 7. Risen to the right. Risen's caught 2 in this drive. He is split wide right. Antonio Freeman to the left. Here comes Minnesota. And Brett Back's got some protection. Fires over the middle. Is it caught or not?
Yes.
Touchdown, Andre Rison. What a throw and what a great catch made.
And he does his Lambeau leap, his very first Lambeau leap.
And he is in the stands. Boy, what a play. I wasn't sure whether he got his hands underneath it or not, because that's hard to go down and get.
Yeah, he went for the ball, Jim. A good pass, but even though it didn't look like a good pass, he threw it perfect. He went down and got it. The Packers got a nice lead.
Packers catching the Vikings in a blitz. Edgar Bennett, good job on the blitz pickup. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Packers got to get off the field, or they're going to be a delay of game here. Too many people went into the stands with Andre Rison. What a throw. Oh, my goodness. So the try for extra point. 23-10.
Jeff Dellenbach, the new snapper for the Packers.
And the ball a little high, not handled well, but Hendrick gets it down, and it's up and good. And a timeout back after this word from your local station on a Packer Radio Network.
Now save up to $900 just by sending E.O. Johnson Company a fax announcing the Canon Laser Class trade-up offer. For a limited time, trade in your old fax machine at E.O. Johnson Company and you'll receive $500 off a Canon Laser Class.
Jim, if they, depending maybe on how far they go in the playoffs, but Brett Favre should be the MVP again this year.
So Andre Rison with his first Packer touchdown. Here's the kickoff. And this one goes all the way to the end zone, and Morrow's going to have to down it right there, and it'll be taken at the 20-yard line.
Great kick by Craig Hendrick.
So the Packers feeling everything right now and leading 24-10 in the ball game. Day in and day out, at home or away from your home, you can always count on the great taste of Bud Light. Won't fill you up and never let you down, so make it a Bud Light. Wouldn't be a bad idea to, at home tonight, toast the Packers with a nice Bud Light. Wouldn't be bad at all, would it?
Somebody do that on the plane.
Well, you could do that. As long as you got somebody to drive you home, that's all I care about. All right, first down, Minnesota at the 20-yard line. Packer fans are roaring. Here's the handoff to Horde up the middle for about 3, maybe 4 yards. Leroy Horde on a straight head charge for the Minnesota Vikings. I'll tell you what, Max and Larry McCarren, the 2 drives, well, I didn't mean you as an afterthought, but you were kind of now that I think about it. But those are 2, I'll let you speak first.
No, I ain't saying nothing. You figure it out.
As good a drive.
I want to hear this little slice of genius right here.
2 drives are as good as we've seen all season long for quality.
Well, I agree. I'm not sure how you exactly measure quality, but they look pretty good.
2nd down and 6. Here is play action by Johnson. Now dancing around and running and caught it down back at the 21-yard line. Finally run down by Reggie. Reggie's not going to let Leroy catch up to him. Reggie brings him down. A sack for Mac. Money to the Mac Fund. Compliments of Budweiser beer. Hey, by the way, congratulations to all the folks down in Milwaukee last night on a Macathon, raising money to fight childhood cancer. They do a terrific job. Congratulations.
That was more or less a covered sack. Good work downfield by the Packers.
3rd down and 9, Minnesota. This crowd is absolutely alive. Just raring to go. 3rd down and 10. Reed goes left. Walsh to the right. He's confused. Now Chris Carter goes out to the right. And finally, Walsh gets over and lined up on the left side. Here's Johnson on 3rd down. Back to throw again. Fires the ball up the sidelines and overshot Chris Carter. And you know what? The previous play made that play possible. He wanted to get rid of that ball and quickly.
Well, he did, and it was well overthrown, so the Packer defense making itself known.
So it is going to be 4th down, and Reggie White out there having some words with Todd Stussy, I think, isn't he?
Reggie can have words with anybody he wants to.
Yes, sir, and he'll get your attention real quickly. So Berger will kick off, or do the punting, rather, and Desmond Howard back at the 38-yard line waiting to kick.
Packers should wind up with some rather terrific field position on this.
Packers have scored 2 touchdowns here, and we still have 4:49 to go in a quarter. Here's the kick by Berger, a high floater. Desmond Howard's going to grab the ball at the 33. Got some room. 35 to the outside, to the 40, slipped down at the 39. He tried to make a cut back, and he slipped in that turf and falls down. So we'll take a break. It is 24-10 the Packers. Back after this word on the Packer Radio Network. Field advantage.
I think beautiful Lambeau Field will decide who goes to the Super Bowl.
All right, it is going to be a first down for the Packers at their own 39-yard line. Brett Favre remains the quarterback for Green Bay. First down at the 39. In motion to the right is Mark Chmura. He comes back in motion to the left. Brett's back to throw on first down, looking, now dancing out of the pocket and running. And sliding forward to about the 46 or 7. No, Brett, don't start running now.
I'll tell you what, the Packer offensive line today has done a very good job of getting downfield, taking the extra shot. That time Aaron Taylor nicked somebody off so he can get hit on Aaron Taylor. Just a good hustle by the group today.
By the way, happy birthday to Tim Clark of Brookfield from Mike, Dave, and Mandy. They were here a while ago. They forgot to wish Tim a happy birthday. Well, now we've gotten him off the hook. Happy birthday, Tim. It's going to be a second down and about 3 yards to go for the Packers. The ball resting at the 47-yard line. This is kind of fun here today. Been a terrific ball game so far. Here's Brett. Handoff. Up it goes upfield, across midfield to a first down for Edgar Bennett. And the Packers running for another first down. And Jim, give me the running totals for the Packers at this stage. Well, wait, I can pick it up off the board over here. That's all right. That will put them to about 120-some yards in rushing here in the third quarter.
Over this last 4 or 5 game stretch, they've really made an effort to improve that running game, and it is improved.
First down at midfield. Henderson comes out of the ball game. Dorsey Levens is in. Bennett's also out. And they're coming over here to get some cleats cleaned. There's some mud out there on the field right at the moment. First down for Brett Favre, and a handoff to Dorsey Levens. Got the corner, turns upfield, 45 to the 41-yard line. Boy, did he stop Max on a dime and cut back against the grain to get himself 9 yards.
Yeah, it appears the Packer offensive line is kind of taken over this defensive line of the Vikings, and they're moving at will.
Now, it's not an unusual pattern, Larry. This is what's been happening.
No, they've gone into this game last 4 games, outscored their opponents 91-16 in the second half.
By the way, hello to Marv Havel and his wife Judy. They're Dodge dealers, and so are Daryl Spurl and Daryl and Mary, right? Okay, well, welcome. We're glad you're here. Spurl. Okay, good. Good to have you here, both Dodge dealers and one of our good sponsors. Second down and about a yard. Here is the handoff to Bennett. Tries to get to the outside. Hit right at the line of scrimmage. May have fallen forward for a first down. Drilled by the Minnesota Vikings, and the man who made the tackle is Martin Harrison. Did he get the first down or not? He's awfully close to it. I think it'll require a measurement with 2:27 remaining here in the third quarter. This game today is brought to you by DirecTV. For the most NFL action available anywhere, it's got to be DirecTV, satellite TV at its very best. We mentioned earlier that every Packer score is one for the MAC Fund. Packer Radio Network and participating sponsors have teamed up to continue to fight against childhood cancer with Scoring for MAC. If the Packers can win this ball game, it's a long way from being over. He's still got a quarter, and they lead by 2 touchdowns. It would tie the most victories ever by a Green Bay Packer team. 13 in a season. Now, understand, when you played, they only played 12 for a while, and then they went to 14.
Well, at our age, we couldn't play 16 games.
Well, you're right. You're right about that. Certainly, with the group as old as it is now, probably wouldn't win more than 10 or 12 if they were playing. It's going to be a first down at the 40. Split a man off to the right, one to the left for the Packers. Andre Rison really was an integral part of the last drive. Here's the draw play up the middle. Edgar Bennett, 5, 10, to the 25, to the 20, to the 18-yard line. And Max, you're absolutely right. The Packer offensive line is taking charge of the ball game. Larry, you got to be proud of that.
Oh, you betcha. Frankie Winters blocking back, doing a good job shielding defensive tackle. Aaron Taylor blocking up on the linebacker. He gets the job done, but Edgar is making a statement today. All the folks that said, hey, he shouldn't be the featured ball carrier, Edgar's making a statement.
I know. You know what? Why don't we as fans just say it's good to have Dorsey and Edgar? That's about the best way to say it.
They look good today, no doubt about it.
152 rushing yards today. Here is the ride and the handoff to Bennett. He tries to slide to the right side. May have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about all. So it'll be a second down. Clock running with 1:23. Packers, if anything they can get on the board right here is an awfully big score, up by 2 touchdowns. You want to put as much distance as you can between yourselves and the Minnesota Vikings. Buffalo, by the way, in the fourth quarter, Max, has gone up on Kansas City 13-9. Indianapolis and Cincinnati are tied at 17 all, and those clubs are fighting. Indianapolis, Kansas City, and Buffalo for a playoff spot.
I'll tell you, Buffalo and Kansas City, that's a field goal game, because I don't think either one of them could score.
It's going to be a second down at about 10 for the Packers. Chimera in motion to the right. Here's Brett back to throw it. They come after him. He shovels it upfield to Dorsey Levens. Needs to get rid of one man. Couldn't. Oh, great open field tackle made by the Minnesota Vikings. Harlan Barnett, a safety. And he knocks him down back at about the 22-yard line. That's a fine play by Barnett.
I love the little underhanded pass that Brett kind of whipped out there.
Shuffle pass, right?
It's part of a screenplay as well.
Now, that was a great play by Barnett. If he gets past Barnett, then he's got some running room upfield. The Packers going to let the clock run out to the end of the third quarter. That'll be the end of 3. The Packers lead it 24-10. Back after this on the Packer Radio Network.
Okay, time out for important news from another great team in Wisconsin, the Kelly Tires and Palms Tire Service Team. Together, this team of professionals can help you find the right tire, whether you drive on...
20 yardage they get on this play would be valuable. Don't be surprised if they run the ball up the middle. Now stepping back into the backfield is Mark Chimera on this third down play and long. Here's Brett Favre, play action fake. No, he's going to throw it. And he throws the ball to the corner. Caught. And it's a touchdown for Keith Jackson. I didn't know whether he had it or not. It just barely cleared the defender. And that is the 39th touchdown pass of Brett Favre, a new career high.
And it was just as perfect as the other 38, Jim. I'll tell you, a great pass. And Keith Jackson made a heck of a catch. Tremendous play.
Jackson has great powers of concentration, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He's got nice hand size, and he can move downfield. Packers overloading that side of the Viking defense with tight ends. Mark Chimera over there as well.
Oh, boy, that ball just arrived in time.
That's about 10, at least 10 touchdown passes for Jackson this year.
It is. You're really good at that. The kick is up. The kick is good. And it is 31-10 in favor of the Packers. And that is Keith Jackson's 10th touchdown of the year. We'll take a break. Back after this. It's the Packer Radio Network.
It can get pretty cold at Lambeau Field. And after a long...
Fine. Lordy sakes, I work hard.
They could run. They could pass. That was quality.
Packers so far with 349 yards, 152 rushing, 197 passing. And again, Brett Favre with
McCann is warming up.
3 touchdown passes. Here is the catch by Ampley on the kickoff at the 10 to the 15 to 20, 25 and out to about the 30-yard line. Jim McMahon warming up on the sidelines.
Did I say McCann?
I'm not. Yeah, I think so. That's the district attorney down in Milwaukee.
I played with him. I meant McMahon.
Oh. 60 yards and 8 plays for the Packers on that last touchdown drive. Now listen to these drives. The drives took 9, 8, and 6 plays.
That's not long.
Well, that's efficient, is what that is. First down at the 30.
It's also demoralizing
for the Minnesota
Vikings.
But isn't it amazing?
Right down your
isn't it amazing how the Packers have taken over the line of scrimmage in the second halves of games? They just wear them down. First down at the 30-yard line, Minnesota. Brad Johnson is back to pass. Brad looking in trouble. Fires it up over the middle. It is caught by Evans, and Evans gets about 7 yards out to about the 37-yard line. Had a nice pocket around Johnson. He didn't have any room to move around, but they had a pocket there to cover it.
Well, this is a great time for defensive linemen. You just pin your ears back, ignore the run, and go after that passer.
Well, today's game brought to you by Mills Fleet Farm, headquarters for all your hunting and fishing supplies at the lowest overall prices every day.
Packers jumping into their 3-4 defense now.
Second down, 3 yards to go. Evans gets right up on the wide receiver. Here's Johnson back to throw, and he feathers one up nicely that is caught. Boy, great coverage, but caught by Jake Reed at the 47-yard line of the Packers. Newsom was all over him, and he made a heck of a catch.
He really did. The ball was delivered a little late. Johnson, hadn't played a lot of football in the last 4 or 5 years, and he just threw the ball a little late, but this guy got up and took it away from him.
13:47 and the clock running.
Reed leading the league in yardage this year for receivers, so he's no slouch either.
Here is the handoff as they run it up the middle, and Leroy Horde picking his way very nicely. Loses the ball. It's down on the ground, and the Packers have the ball back at the 28-yard line. Let's see who came up with it. It's George on the fumble recovery. George Kuntz has recovered the ball for the Green Bay Packers. And for George, let me check him out here. George, how many have you recovered, George? Where in the heck is my George Kuntz numbers? Can't find him. He's not on my list. Oh, there he is, right up at the top. That's his first fumble recovery. Packers will take over, and they'll take over at the 27-yard line. That's demoralizing for Minnesota as well. Here comes Jim McMahon as the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers.
Fans applauding that move.
We may see not many more passes will hit the air.
I think we're just going to see how quickly he can run out the clock.
I think you're right.
First down at the 27-yard line. I formation. Henderson, one of the running backs, along with Edgar Bennett. Here's Jim McMahon. He may surprise us and throw. Now it's dropped by Edgar Bennett. He picks it up and drives forward to the 31.
That says something about domination at the line of scrimmage when you can drop the ball in the backfield, pick it up, and still gain a few yards.
Now we got some finger pointing, and here's a good move. Look at who is that that's pulling one of the Packers away? That appears to be, is it Freeman who's saying, let's not get into an argument with him here.
I guarantee you it's not Frank Winters pulling anybody
No,
away.
it was Antonio Freeman. He was saying to Mark Chimera, he said, come on, we're doing things right. Let's
Packer
keep this up.
offensive line does not like these guys.
What are we up to with Edgar Bennett now? 101 yards. He just went over 100. Congratulations, big fella.
When you have to listen to John Randall for 3 quarters, you'd be mad at anybody.
Second down and about 4. He's up around the 900 mark in rushing. Here's Dorsey Levens. Gets the outside, jumps over a man, up the field, close to a first down, got it. At about the 39. What do you want to run? It's all working.
I'll tell you, when it's this cold and you're bound 31-10, the defense would rather be in the house than on the field.
Good job by Adam Timmerman putting Harlan Barnett right on the ground. Dorsey jumped over that block, and away he went.
Our ball game brought to you by State Farm Insurance and the State Farm agents throughout Wisconsin. For all your family insurance needs, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I'll tell you what, we've had some fun in years past, but ain't nothing more fun than winning some games by good margins.
Well, especially when, you're one of the best teams in football right here today. That makes it a lot of fun.
39-yard line in their own territory. First down for the Packers and Jim McMahon. Receivers left and right. Andre Rison has caught a touchdown pass today. Here's the handoff, and it goes off to Bennett. He slides across the 40 to about the 41-yard line. Clock keeps running at 12 minutes to go in the ball game. Adam Timmerman stopped to pause and have a little conversation with Fernando Smith.
The Vikings starting to bring up their safeties real close to the line of scrimmage to help stop this run.
Well, let's let Jim throw it then, right?
Well, I think they would. Why not? It's still a football game.
31-10. Object is to go out there and play the game as meant to be played. So the one thing, that pleases me the most, there'll be none of this going on the road, staying in them fancy hotels and eating in those fancy restaurants. We'll be right here at home.
I hate that when that happens.
Oh, me too. Here's McMahon. Play action fake, just like we talked. Fired it upfield. It is caught. And a first down at the 49 by Chimura, who didn't catch it cleanly.
He didn't recognize that spiral coming. It wasn't Brett's pass.
Ball got there a little late for him, didn't it? First down at the 49 for the Packers.
I don't know how McMahon can see anybody with those glasses he's got on his helmet. Look at that.
McMahon is now 3 for 3 in throwing this season. Did you know that?
Well, he's leading the league in quarterback rating, I bet.
He's up there near the top. All right, it's going to be a first down at the 49-yard line. 10:49 left in the game.
How the Packers have been able to take over second halves this last month of the season.
31-10 is the score right now. 3 solid drives by the Packers, who've not punted yet here in the second half.
Quality drives.
Yes, quality drives. Here's the handoff. Edgar Bennett driving. Look at this. He took Jeff Brady and drove Jeff Brady back about 3 yards down to the 46-yard line.
Now, a guy like Brady that's been shooting off his mouth all week has got to feel like a fool today, especially the way the Packers are winning this game.
Quality, great selection, and the lowest overall prices are the reasons you should make Roundy's Pick and Save your one and only food store. For the best overall value, shop at Roundy's Pick and Save. When it comes to price, they're still talking low. Going to be a second down. Let's call it 8 yards to go. They mark the ball at the 47-yard line. 10 minutes left in the game. Packers well out in front and solidly getting their 13th win of the season. And they will finish with a 5-game winning streak. Back to pass goes Jim McMahon.
Scott Thomas.
McMahon down the sidelines, throwing it for Rison, but he didn't throw it to Thomas, and he threw it at Rison down the sidelines. And you may have been right about Thomason open over the middle. So it's going to be third down for the Packers. That stopped the clock at 9:48.
Yeah, there wasn't much to that pass, let's face it.
He just didn't want it picked off, did he?
Merry Christmas, Jim.
Other than that, Jim, have a good time.
Oh, jolly old St. Nick is up in the booth here.
What I meant is the fact that
it wasn't well.
It looked like an afterthought.
Yeah. All right. It's going to be third down at about 8. 3rd and 8 for the Packers and Jim McMahon. You're right. I don't know. I can see out of those Darth Vader glasses. Here's the inside handoff to Dorsey Levens. Dorsey runs the ball to the 39, close to a first down. I think he's just short. Yeah,
he was down on the
39-yard line.
They're going to mark
him down. Fans are saying go. Listen to this. Fans are already saying go for it. Well, the voting's been tallied for the True Value NFL Man of the Year contest. Your Packer nominee, Mark Chmura. Watch for the winner Super Bowl weekend. True Value, the official hardware store of the NFL. 4th and a yard. And Jim McMahon says, I want you to measure it for me, would you please?
Good job by Earl Dotson on the play side, and Aaron Taylor pulling around, picking his way through the mess to get a block.
Now, why would they measure this when it's on the line and the measurement is a yard on the other side?
Well, you know what? The coach wanted a little time to make up his mind.
I know, but I would have...
He told Jim to go up there and ask him to measure.
Well, he's going to kick the ball.
You know what? I think he's going to go for it. I don't think it makes much difference what he does at 9:17 remaining in the game. They put the sticks down and they measure, and guess what? He has to get to the 39 to have a first down. He's a yard short. Did you know that already?
What?
That he was a yard short?
Absolutely.
They're going to kick it, like Max said.
Well, I mean, no use making these guys too mad. You might have to play them again in the playoffs.
And you have to play them next year as well, and the year after that. So just keep things cheery here. So it'll be Hentrich doing the kicking at 9:17 remaining. Now they should start the clock, and he could stand there for a full 25 seconds. And there it goes. Don't snap it right away. Well, Dallenbach snapped it right away.
It's Chmura.
That was Chmura. Well, don't do that. Here's the fair catch at the 9-yard line.
You ever tried to squat in that position for like a minute, Jim? It is
out. Back after this.
Your hands start tightening up.
From your local station. This is a Packer Radio Network.
It starts
the game. 31-10 the Packers. You know what? The Carolina game still has some meaning as far as the Packers are concerned, because it will be who lines up where when you get down to the games. So we'll watch that one. Carolina has taken the lead 18-14 on Pittsburgh in the 4th quarter. Here's the first down play for Brad Johnson. Back to throw it. Looks, comes up over the middle. It is caught by Chris Carter to about the 12. I'm amazed how little Carter has been a factor in the ballgame all day long.
Well, part of it might be the Packer defense, certainly. That time they lined up in 3-4, and Fritz likes that defense because it affords him the opportunity to use lots of different coverages.
He has 3 catches so far today. Came in with how many? 90?
You know, the Vikings have not had the ball a lot, Jim, and it's hard to catch passes when the Packers have the ball.
They got a man injured on the far side of the field over there for the Minnesota Vikings trying to get off. I don't know whether that's Horde or not. Reggie is still out there playing for the Packers. You think this defense doesn't have some pride? They don't want Minnesota to get anything off us.
They also want to win that championship for #1 defense in the league. Sean Jones this week said, hey, we are well aware of where we're at. And that's 5 yards behind Dallas.
Second down and about 7-8 yards to go for Minnesota at the 12-yard line.
Packers staying in that 3-4.
Here is Brad Johnson. Oh, and Sean Jones comes offside and touches the quarterback. He said, as long as I'm over here, I might as well run over there and touch him. Packers got offsides. 2 of them were leaning, and Sean went ahead and went through with it. Now they're going to have a conference about who did what. Here's Red. I'll be darned. False start against Minnesota. By the way, Red Cashin concludes 25 years of service today in the regular season. There's the thought that they may be funneling some of these officials through here because they'll be the playoff official group. I don't know whether that's true or not with Cashin's group, but I would imagine he might be in the playoffs somewhere. So it is going to be back at the 7-yard line. Second down and about 13 for Minnesota. Brad Johnson brings it to the line of scrimmage again. Packers still have that #1 defensive unit in there. Here's Johnson waiting. Johnson straight back in the pocket. Quick out pattern goes to Jake Reed, and Reed is pushed out at the 15-yard line. And it'll be 3rd down and about 5 yards to go. Jake Reed to the right side. 31-10 the Packers. 8:15 remaining in the ball game here from Lambeau Field, and the Packers looking for a 13th victory of this season. Packers bring in Ty Williams and Santana Dotson. George Kuntz is one of those who came out for Green Bay, and the other one is Ron Cox. Now here comes Gilbert Brown out of the line.
That Gilbert's been in and out quite a bit today, so that's definitely cramps.
That's how he gets his running in, back and forth to the huddle. Under 8 minutes left in the ball game. 3rd down and 5. Let's see if the Packers can stop them here. The quarterback is Johnson. Back to throw. Brad Johnson wants to air it out long. Got a man out there, and Jake Reed over to do it. Oh, my. He got to step on the defenders. Reed has a A great extra gear, Max. It gets him that extra yard in front, but it's incomplete.
Just a step short. I'll tell you, though, that Johnson showed he's got a nice arm.
Reed moves pretty well for a guy that weighs like 250.
Yeah,
he is one big hoss for a wide receiver.
Well, Midwest Express Airlines wants to take this opportunity to salute Marathon Travel Shops, their partner in travel. Midwest Express Airlines, best care on the air and the official airline of the Green Bay Packer Radio Network. All right, here back to do the kicking is Mitch Berger. He's done a lot of that today. Berger gets the kick away, and this one is a line drive that Desmond Howard takes back at the 33. Comes right, looking for a little hole to the 35-40. Down the sidelines, 50. To the 45. Got a man to beat. He's at the 25. Inside and out of bounds at the 20. Oh, he almost did it again, folks.
He got a couple terrific blocks by Lamont Hollenquist and Jeff Thomason, but Desmond Howard can take advantage like nobody else.
To the 20-yard line. Wouldn't you love to have seen him get into that end zone? Good grief. What an effort by Desmond.
Well, what a year he's having.
He's
Jim.
really added a dimension, hasn't he?
He really has. And when you got good football teams, you got to win in more ways than either running or passing, and one of them is special teams. And when you got a guy like him, that's a great dimension.
Packers are going to take over at the 20-yard line. We're going to keep right on playing, even though Fred Cashin says you got to go when you get a break like that. 47 yards on the return.
He didn't want to slow up the Packer momentum.
No. I think he's right about that. So it's a first down at the 20. 7:28 left in the game, and the Packers are going to have home field advantage, folks, throughout the playoffs.
The Vikings are going to go into the playoffs in reverse.
Here's the first down play for Jim McMahon from the 20. Jim on the handoff up the middle. Edgar Bennett sliding forward to about the 16-yard line. We got to think about it. The most valuable player today, and I think Edgar Bennett figures into that very closely.
Well, how about one of them offensive linemen that was opening those holes?
Well, now you're in Larry's territory. What do you think?
Well, if you go with the O-line, you got to do the whole group.
Didn't we do that once before?
I don't think so.
Oh.
That might have been like 20, 30 years ago. I think it's all running together.
Listen, Edgar had over 100 yards, and we don't have that too often here.
How many touchdown passes did Brett throw today?
3. Edgar Bennett has just come out of the lineup, and there was Brett Favre to give him a big hug.
What's the all-time record for touchdown passes?
48.
Well, we're a little short of that.
Yeah, we're at 39. He's got to throw 9 in about 6.5 minutes, and he's not even in the game. Here's the draw play to Dorsey Levens up the middle. Breaks the tackle down to almost the 10. Just short of the first down. Dorsey Levens to the 10-yard line. It'll be third down and about a half a yard to go for the first down for the Packers.
Packer offensive line set this tone on the very first drive, and they haven't let up at all. They are just dominating up front.
Fourth quarter and third quarter, rather, was the third quarter was the big quarter. They just came out and said, here we come. And they started and shot it right down the field. Desmond Howard set it up with a nice kickoff return, and we went from there. To the left side, split out. I believe that's Terry Mickens into the ball game now. Third down and short yardage for the Packers. Here's the quarterback, Jim McMahon. Jim gives the ball off to Dorsey Levens to the 5 and walks it in, folks. Touchdown. Just kind of high-stepped it. There was no opposition there. The Minnesota Vikings have been defeated.
No doubt about it, Jim. Just perfect blocking up front, and Dorsey whips into the end zone.
Packer offensive line just totally taking control. Frankie Winters, Adam Timmerman that time parked the Viking darn near into the end zone.
Well, he gets 11 yards on the drive for the touchdown. That's his 10th touchdown of the year. 5 and 5. 5 rushing, 5 receiving. So the try for the extra point. It is 37-10. I think at halftime, if you'd have told me it was going to be 37-10, I wouldn't have believed you.
No, not at wasn't it 10-10 at halftime?
It was. Kick is good. 38-10. Timeout. Back after this. This is the Packer Radio Network.
Check out the holiday savings.
While holiday shopping at Bill's Fleet Farm, stock up on Duracell copper top batteries. Be ready for a battery-operated toy.
With a short kick this time.
Yeah,
he didn't do it too well. It caught by an up lineman. And that's an offensive lineman who gets it down to about the 30-yard line. That ball went to the 20, and he got it to the 30. So we'll get a timeout. We're going to take a break. Back after this. This is the Packer Radio Network.
No, but it was really good.
Okay. First down at the 30-yard line.
Y'all didn't get to try it. I know
that. Man in motion to the right side is the tight end. Here's Brad Johnson rolling right. Wants to throw. Fires the ball out to the right, and Chris Carter drops it. Right in his hands. He wasn't going to get much out of it. I want to say hello. A friend of mine is in the stands here somewhere today. He is in section 16. Last row of section 16, he said. Down around the goal line. Dan Mooney, who is an outstanding actor and really a guy I've enjoyed watching for a long time. And Dan's here at the ball game today. He's in rehearsal for some plays, took time out to come to the game. That shows you how important all of this is to everybody. 2nd down and 10 at the 30-yard line, Minnesota. Johnson again, straight back in the pocket. Learning something today. Hit. Ball loose. Is it a fumble or not? Picked up by the Packers, Sean Jones. No, he's passing. They're going to. Sean had the touchdown, but it won't be a touchdown. No, Sean, you're wasting a leap into the stands.
Can you imagine Sean Jones jumping on you in the stands?
It was a forward pass, said Red. I don't know what it was or not, Red.
You know, that's too bad. Leroy Butler, if they would have credited him with a sack on that, he would have set a record for sacks by defensive back.
Is that right?
He's got 6.5, the record 7.
I couldn't tell he was the one who got in there.
Yeah, it was definitely a forward
pass, folks. It was. You don't get angry at Red Cashin for making a good call. That's Butler coming around the backside, and he's the one who hit the ball. So now it is 3rd down and 10. I'll tell you what, Brad Johnson, this is a learning experience today. Today's Packer game brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser. Remind you that fresh beer tastes better.
He learned that the Packers are the Super Bowl favorites.
3rd down and 10. Here's Brad Johnson again, back to throw. Dancing, fires it off to the right side, dropped by Ampley. They'll have to kick.
They get harder.
5.5 minutes
Those
left.
passes get real hard to catch at this stage of the game on a cold day, Jim.
The Vikings kind of want to pack this thing back up and head to the Twin Cities.
Well, they'll have to kick it again. Desmond Howard back to return it. I'll tell you what, this has just been an outstanding performance all game long. I thought the Packers were playing well there in the first half. It was just that Minnesota was playing well also, and the Packers never did drop off that level. In fact, may have picked it up a little bit. Come on, Desmond, let's put it in the end zone. That'd be a nice way to cap the day. Here is the kick. I don't know where it went.
He missed it to the right.
Over to the right there.
Ball is over to the right side. It's getting a little dingy and dark here. And the ball goes out of bounds, and the Packers will take over with good field position. 5:25 remaining in the ball game. Let me see, what do we got? Jacksonville fighting for its life now against Atlanta, 19-17. Jacksonville, Indianapolis, if they don't make it, I don't know.
Yeah,
what
they've
would
overcome
happen.
a lot of injuries to get in this position.
I think since Kansas City is losing, I think that means they probably will be in even if they lose. Here is Jim McMahon on the handoff to Travis Jervy. Jervy speeds it up around the corner to the 40-yard line, and a pickup on the play of about 3 yards. Did you see Travis put both hands on that football?
He better. For as few carries as he's had several fumbles. He's got to show he can hang on to the football.
You know what, Max and Larry, if you're a Green Bay Packer, your chest just ought to be swelling with pride today.
I'll tell you, they played some kind of football game, and it'd been very easy not to come out here and play a good game today with nothing to play for. But, boy, did they put that behind them quick. They have played as good a football game today as I've seen them play all year.
Just all year long, they played hard. They played with some adversity, and they're going to be 13-3 when it's all over. Now they're over 200 yards in rushing for the day. That's a nice way to cap the season, isn't it? Here's the 2nd down play. This one goes off to the right side to Henderson. Cuts back against the grain, but is stuck right at the line of scrimmage.
Make it 199.
There's Martin Harrison, who made the tackle for the Minnesota Vikings.
What's impressive about the last month of the season is the dominating way they've won football games.
Right.
They look as good at the last. When they got their receivers back and got back in gear, they have been unstoppable the last 4 games.
Buffalo ran away from Kansas City and beat them 20-9. Now, I don't know what that does with Kansas City and Indianapolis as far as the playoffs are concerned. But it's not important. They're in that other division. It only matters if one of those gets to the Super Bowl. You'll try to get the Packers there, and then we'll see who's there when we get there. 3rd down and about 5 for the Packers. Here's Jim McMahon. Handoff. They're going to try to sweep it to the left with Travis Jervy. Bursted through, got a first down the sidelines and out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
He
That's
showed
a nice
some
running game.
Showed some quickness there, Jim. When he makes a cut, he gets up that field pretty good.
You know what he did really well, Larry? He let the blockers block.
Yes, and that's very hard to do for a guy that doesn't get a lot of opportunities. Right. Normally, they're just exploding and they're going to run as hard as they can. He showed some patience.
William Henderson again making the key block on that play.
Look at Desmond Howard downfield, though, putting a little move on the defender back there.
Packer wide receivers do a better job blocking downfield than anybody in football.
3:42 left in the game.
Because they're all required to block. Nobody's above it.
Don't forget, by the way, we need to think about a player of the game. You and I pretty well settled on Edgar Bennett, didn't we?
Well,
why don't we just Ask Larry his opinion so he won't feel bad. Here is the run to the right by Jervy, and he stops, spins away, and gets back to the line of scrimmage almost.
Edgar's fine, fellas.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't make any difference. Max has 1 vote. I have 1 vote. You have 2 votes.
Tom, you want to vote? You're right. You don't get a vote, but I'm willing
You're
to.
offering you one.
Yeah, I'm letting you vote right now, even though it won't count. You vote for Edgar Bennett. That's why you don't get a vote. You're just a copycat.
I vote for Frank Winters.
To be second in the voting, or what?
Yeah.
Edgar Bennett is our player of the game, brought to you today by your local Jeep and Eagle, Chrysler and Plymouth, and your friendly Dodge dealers.
Jim, why don't you just decide this thing? Why even give us the courtesy?
If you're going to produce the game, right?
How about Desmond Howard? You missed him.
I don't. He was one of my candidates. 2nd down and 10 for the Packers. Here's the handoff up the middle, and Henderson looking for a little hole, gets to about the 44 for a gain of 2.
You know, these are meaningless plays, but it's so fun to watch that Viking defensive line at this point get shoved back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun.
I'll tell you, I got to wish a Merry Christmas to John Spaulding, a group down here.
Oh, and Peggy.
Yeah.
John and Peggy, sure.
And you know why? They have, I have the Max McGee Fund for Juvenile Diabetes Research. We have raised, with their help, and the Blazers and other people in that box, we have raised $1 million this year to start our
Congratulations.
foundation.
That's terrific.
Yeah, and a lot of people in Wisconsin have made that possible, and you still can, because we need more money.
So it is going to be 3rd down for the Packers and about 7 yards to go. 2:11 left in the ball game. Here is Jim McMahon on the handoff. Jervy trying to sweep to the right, cuts inside a block, gets the 40.
Whoa, look at him go.
He may have the first down. Down around the 36-yard line.
2-minute warning.
We'll get the 2-minute warning. We'll take a break and come back after this on the Packer Radio Network.
If you get 2 here and win them both, you know where you'll end up.
Nolans.
Right. I hope they hire some more policemen down here. It's pretty tough.
Just stay in the main areas.
You know what I find very unusual. 3 years ago, the Packers had Favre, Brunell, and Bittmer.
Yeah.
Every one of those guys are taking a team to the playoffs.
Yep, could do it. They could do it.
And I think that's a great mark. Shows what Ron Wolf really knows about football players. When you've got 3 quarterbacks that are all taking guys to the playoffs.
We have 4th down and inches here for the Packers. I'm not sure what they're waiting on down on the field, but it's all right by us. We got no place to go. 2 minutes left.
This was a good old-fashioned trip to the woodshed for the Minnesota Vikings. Boy, did they get thumped.
They know that it's best just to come and play. Don't say a lot, right?
If they didn't know it before, they know it now.
Yeah, here's McMahon on 4th down and yardage. Oh, he slipped as he tried to sneak, but he got it anyway. His right foot slipped, but he sneaks forward to the 35, and that means they'll just let him run it out. Minnesota will not call any timeouts here, and you can take a couple of knees in this game. Will be all over. The regular season will merge into the other season, the one that really counts now. Well, what a year this has been. It's just been terrific. Ball at the 35 and the clock running with 1:35. Jim McMahon has gotten some work today. The running game has gotten 221 yards, more than the passing game, 207, but 3 passes thrown for touchdowns by Brett Favre, who was 15 out of 23, no interceptions. So he finishes at 39 and 13. Betters last year by a touchdown pass. Here's McMahon on the handoff up the middle. Jervy breaks the tackle to the 25, the 24. Jervy just hitting straight ahead. And Minnesota's saying, why don't you just let us get out of here?
They're saying, uncle.
But I admire a guy like Jervy that give it a chance, even in this situation. I mean, he puts 110% out, and he's just blowing through those arm tackles, because that's about all the Vikings are offering now.
A lot of hugs going on down on the sidelines for the Packers. People coming up and saying thank you.
I wonder if they're going to give Mike the Gatorade treatment.
I don't know. He might say, oh, here it goes. Oh, they got him. They got him, and he turned around and took names. Reggie White and Sean Jones. He's taking names, and I'll get you, he said. Here he comes, and Sean gives him a hug. Packers take a knee with 27. The game is all over. And the Packers have won this game by a final score of 38-10. A quick 30-second break. This word from your local station on the Packer Radio Network.
Don the Muffler Man. If he can't do it, no one can. Don the Muffler Man does your exhaust.
The Vikings will play at Dallas in a wild card.
Dick, I'm going to tell you this right now. The Minnesota Vikings, the way they're playing, they can go to Dallas and beat them. I guarantee that they can beat them in Dallas.
That could be the team they're going to play. 38-10, the final score. We'll be back right here to Lambeau.
Other scores in action. Green Bay.
Antonio Freeman looking inside, leveled by Corey Fuller. That was just an example of the game. How hard hitting was Brad Johnson. $15 million richer. Chris Carter on this 43-yard touchdown. Ties the game at 7-all. Then Brett Favre back. Dorsey, 11, screen pass. This one goes straight to your great downfield blocking. Green Bay up by a touchdown, 17-10. And then Favre back against. Nobody in the middle. There's your quick post. There's Andre Rison. He's got it. There's the turkey walk. Here's the leap. There you go. Green Bay all over the Vikings, 38-10.
Green Bay's victory today made it 16 in a row at Lambeau, including the playoffs. Brett Favre was asked after the game if Green Bay will be unbeatable in the playoffs at home.
When we're playing that way, I think it'd be tough. But anything can happen, and we got to be on our toes. There's some great football teams that are going to come in here and play us, and we have to play mistake-free. We made a couple of turnovers today. It'll be tough, but we're pretty good at home.
And indeed, they ought to be pretty good at home. I think about when Green Bay went through that little injury stretch, but a lot of guys are back, and they reloaded pretty quickly on the offensive end.
They have, and they wanted to put an exclamation point on this game today. I mean, they did a fantastic job making a statement that when you come to Green Bay, Lambeau Field, you're going to have to reckon not only with our defense, but you're going to reckon with this offense. We got Keith Jackson playing outstanding. We got Andre Rison, I think it's a steal for this team. And Andre Rison, believe it or not, getting that touchdown pass, now he's accepted as he jumped into the stands today. I was pumped for him. I've known this kid has gone through a lot over the last couple of years, and to see him now being a part of a team and being able to contribute, I think he's going to be a fantastic person for the playoffs.
I think he pretty much said it all. You know, when I'm in this outfit, I feel compelled to get into a rendition of I Hear That Train A-Comin' by Johnny Cash, but let's talk some football.
Hey, Sean Jones had a
Sean Jones, Reggie White played great. Edgar Bennett, a guy that's been overlooked a little bit. I was going somewhere with that. Edgar Bennett played some great football. It's Christmas, man. Lighten up. Everybody
Johnny
just
Cash
lighten up.
No train coming on Christmas. That's not a Christmas song.
It's the outfit.
Oh, that outfit. Well,
Edgar
like
Bennett ran hard.
Somewhere.
Matt Millen pointed out, Mark Chimera coming back, jump starts that offense in terms of their running. Andre Rison, he's not making a lot of catches. Ronnie pointed out he's such an integral part of that offense because he draws people away. And I'll tell you, this team, the defensive ends are the key. They're coming on right now. Sean Jones was banged up. Didn't want to talk about it a lot publicly. Reggie White's been pacing himself. Reggie told me, watch me down the stretch. And I'm watching both those guys, and they're delivering.
Karnak.
Oh, you're Karnak now.
40-27. Open it up. Who ran for 40 times today and only threw 27 passes? Lo and behold, the Green Bay Packers. Cold weather, Bennett over 100. Ha! That's how you do it. That's a good combination, man. Run first, throw second. Hey, man, take it, man.
When you put things up to that, when you put things up to that, yeah, boy.
Woo-hoo. First quarter, Brad Johnson, armed with a new contract, finds Chris Carter. Chris Carter, 76th career touchdown reception. We're tied at 7. Second quarter, Brett Favre, Antonio Freeman, and that is Corey Fuller coming up right there. Let's look at it again. In fact, let me see it twice. Corey Fuller. I don't think Antonio saw him. What do you think?
And never paid attention.
Third quarter, Packers 1st and 10 from the 13. Favre to Dorsey Levens. Great block. Frank Winters blocking. 17-10 Packers. 24-10 Packers. Fourth quarter, Favre looking for Keith Jackson. 31-10 Packers. Favre, did you say MVP? 39 TD passes. That is the most ever by a quarterback not named Marino. 38-10. The final in this one.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime. By the way, this is a game you can play along at home. You've watched the show all year, we hope. All these lead-ins are like the best of the year, so you can probably figure out what they are. Minnesota Vikings against the Green Bay Packers. The Packers, all they had to do was not lose by 19 or more, and they would have home field advantage throughout the playoffs in the NFC, where they're, of course, so very, very tough. But they didn't have not losing a close game on them when they had obliterating the Minnesota Vikings, a team that had beaten them 7 of 9 times since Mike Holmgren got there. And they had the Vikings on, sing along at home, the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And here we go. Darryl Talley says, hey, I got my frozen tundra coat. Corey Fuller says, no, 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 no. So Frank Winters trying to play one of the Three Stooges. Mike Holmgren says, oh, okay. You're going to do that in our house, huh? First and goal at the 5. Edgar Bennett, big hole behind Winters, the center. And Bennett flips it into the stands, 7-0 Packers. The Vikings 1st and 10 for the Pack 43. Brad Johnson, new contract. Chris Carter. All he does is
catch touchdown.
Craig Newsome.
Well, and Newsome, an outstanding athlete, but maybe not the speed to stick with a couple of receivers in this league deep.
7-7, Tommy. Now look at Favre. Rolls right, rolls left, throws the old alley-oop to Antonio Freeman for 37 yards. Same drive. Favre to Freeman again, but guess who catches Freeman? It's Corey Fuller. Catches him. Boom! Right there, and the Vikings recover.
Well, Freeman glancing inside, looking for a place to cut back. The boom lowered on him by Fuller. He's still looking inside. He's still getting the boom lowered on him. The ball's still popping out.
Second half, Derek Alexander throws mud in Bruce Wilkerson's face, and he says, okay, I'll let my quarterback throw mud in your face. Edgar Allan Poe Bennett up the middle, and Al Conway, the up, helps make the tackle. 1st and 10 at the 13. The screen to Dorsey Levens. Tommy Dorsey Levens with some swing music. On the swing pass, 17-10 Pack. Next drive in the third quarter, Favre. Bad Moon Rising. Touchdown, 22 yards, 24-10 Pack. And yes, I can go in the stands now. I'm a memory to Packers. Packers' third drive of the third quarter. Bennett up the middle. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, 22 yards. First 100-yard game for Bennett since October of last year. Pack on the move. First play of the fourth quarter. Favre. And what let me tell you about Kid Jackson. Beats 2 defenders, 31-10 the Pack. Pack 3 possessions in the second half, 3 touchdowns. That's the alley-oop lay-in for Keith Jackson. Favre at 3 touchdown passes gives him 39 for the year. Mike Holmgren says, you know what we got home field? That's the respect he has. They don't really get it on his head, you see? And Red Cashin, repping his last game, says, you missed him by that much. You could have got it a little bit higher. A great career for Red and a great season capped off by the Packers. They finished 13-3 as they lambasted the Vikings in the second half, outscoring them 28-0. They won 38-10 today. And Tommy, first of all, they've won 26 of the last 27 at Lambeau Field, so everybody else in the NFC has to come in and play them. And a note on the Packers, they are the first team since the 72 Dolphins to lead football in points scored, 456, and allow the least, 210. Plus, they showed something else today, didn't
Well, I think they showed the whole package today. If they begin to run the football, 233 rushing yards today, the way they can run the football, and I think when that offensive line gets the support of the skill position people. Today we saw Andre Rison, we saw Keith Jackson, we saw Brett Favre do what he does. But Edgar Bennett and company running that ball on a stadium that has a turf that's new in it, I think we can depend on this ball club being very difficult to beat at Lambeau Field.
Well, and I'll tell you something else. Second half, the last 5 weeks, they outscored their opponent today 28-0, makes it 119-16 in the second half. The Pack have been unreal, and I'll tell you, that's not the only number as we go inside the numbers. We told you the Brett Favre, 3 touchdown passes, give him 39 on the year. You wonder, well, where does that stack up historically? First of all, he breaks his old NFC mark of 38, which he set last year. There's only one other name ahead of him on the list. Marino's magical year in 84, pretty darn magical in 86. Favre and Favre. We're not stuttering. Marino, Favre. And they ran for more than they passed today. That is interesting news.
Not only does it cap off the best record in the NFC, it guarantees the Pack home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Chris Roth kicks off our team coverage from Lambeau Field.
Well, the next time we see the Packers here at Lambeau Field, it'll be 1997. But don't worry, it's just a few short weeks away until the playoffs begin here at Lambeau. And for the second time in the long history of this franchise, the Packers finish the season with 13 wins. But the most important thing is, as long as they're in the playoffs, they'll be here.
We got a great opportunity here. As I said, 4 years ago when I got here, a lot of you guys asked me, do I think that this team is capable of going to a Super Bowl? And I said yes. I didn't say when, but I said yes.
Home field certainly is something we worked very hard for, we wanted. And I think the players are excited about that prospect.
And the Packers take care of their business in record-setting fashion. Brett Favre's 3 touchdowns give him 39 on the season. That's a new team record and the 3rd highest total in NFL history. The defense sets a new NFL record for fewest touchdowns allowed in a 16-game season. They allowed just 19 this year. And the Packers are the first team since the undefeated 72 Dolphins to lead the league in both scoring and points allowed.
I'm very satisfied and proud of what I've done and this team has accomplished this season, but it'd be out the window if we didn't win it all.
Now the Packers only have to worry about what's on the table for Christmas dinner. They've got a week off before the divisional playoffs come to Lambeau Field. Coming up on Packers Sunday Night Highlights, post-game reaction, and just how the Packers ran their way to home field advantage. Reporting from Lambeau Field, Chris Roth, Channel 12 Sports.
Okay, Chris, well, as you well know, true Packer backers have a fashion sense all their own. Angela Mulberry takes the latest look now in our team coverage.
They're prepared for Christmas.
Toughest schedule in the NFL. We deserve a break. We earned a break. We made a statement that y'all don't want to come to Lambeau. I'm just happy with this, man. I'm just happy.
Clinching home field advantage required a lot, but the Packers were definitely up to the task. 8-0 at home, first time since 1931. First undefeated season at home since 1962. The last and only other time Green Bay won 13 games during the regular season. Comes at the expense of Minnesota. The game story, this game started off like an old black and blue division game. Remember Jeff Brady saying he was going headhunting? Well, he found William Henderson on this Edgar Bennett run and wasn't heard from again. Then Frank Winters hitting Corey Fuller a little late. Fuller taking offense. I don't think Frankie had anything in his eye. Packers strike first. Midway through the first, Edgar Bennett on the 5-yard touchdown, 79 yards rushing in the first half. Edgar with 50. Minnesota counters. This worth $15 million. Brad Johnson, 43 yards to Chris Carter, 7-7 after one. The Vikes retaliate with some wicked hits, most notably Antonio Freeman getting drilled by Fuller, one of 2 Packer fumbles recovered by Minnesota. Nothing comes of it. Chris Jackie getting a 35-yard field goal. He would finish 4 points shy of Don Hudson's team points record. The Scott Sisson field goal tied it at 10 at the half. Second half, once again, is where the Packer offense awakes. The run setting up the pass. Favre with the screen to Levens. Winters with a fabulous block on Orlando Thomas. 13-yard TD. Andre Rison wanted the end zone. He got it. A 22-yard rope from Favre. The Rison picks off the tundra. Time for the leap. Andre gets up a few rows. First play of the fourth. Favre breaking his own club record with his 39th touchdown pass, the 3rd highest total in NFL history, threading the needle to Keith Jackson, 23 yards, 31-10. Dorsey Levens would end the scoring with his 2nd TD of the afternoon, an easy 11-yard run. The Pack clearly dominated the second half. They would make another attempt to score. Leroy Butler hitting Johnson while he throws. It's ruled an incomplete pass. But don't tell that to Sean Jones. He's thinking promised land. Watch out in the front. You have a 300-pound lineman coming at you. Fortunately, no injuries. The Packers take care of home field business, winning 38-10.
Our offensive line was embarrassed in Minnesota and did not play very well. And so I challenged them this week, and they responded to the challenge. They have a lot of pride.
I'm happy. None of the things Brady said came true. Brett's still here. He was a headhunter. He played hard. I'm going to give him all the credit possible. He played hard. We just came out there ready to play.
We don't like the opponent, so it makes it pretty good. You know, because they did a lot of talking this week. We saved our energy and played with it. Maybe they were out of gas because they used so much hot air during the week.
Can't think of a better situation to be in. But I think our guys are mature enough to understand that it doesn't stop here.
The Packers now with a week off to rest and reflect, but the idea of being home for the playoffs is sweet. Kevin Hunt has the reaction from the locker room.
Lambeau Field has become a fortress for the Packers. 16 straight victories, 26 in the last 27 games. No NFL team has more home wins in the last 5 years. Lambeau Field will not be a hospitable place for visitors in January.
Well, this is what all the talk was about, and so now we're in a position to see what we can do with it. You know, it doesn't mean anything if you don't do something with it.
Well, it wasn't a secret. We were all working for that, you know, and Coach, you know, methodically, we got this goal, we have this goal. But this is a goal that we wanted because we want all traffic to come through Lambeau.
Having a first-round bye in the playoffs is big, but the crown jewel is home field advantage all the way. Fans can turn the tide in a close game. Lambeau Field turf is as unpredictable as a Wisconsin winter, advantage home team, and it's much easier to mentally prepare for a game when there is no travel involved.
You know, it's going to be cold, and we're a really good, very good team. And I think home field advantage makes a very good team great.
We got a great opportunity here. As I said, you know, 4 years ago when I got here, a lot of you guys asked me, do I think that this team is capable of going to a Super Bowl? And I said yes. I didn't say when, but I said yes.
The 13th regular season win here now ties a franchise record. But this team really doesn't think about records. Their singular purpose since training camp was to win the Super Bowl. And the road to the Super Bowl now goes through Green Bay. From Lambeau Field, Kevin Hunt, today's TMJ4.
Thanks, Kevin. For the first time this season, the Packers gained more yards rushing than passing. Jesse Garcia has more as we go between the lines.
It was an unusual day by Packer standards. The last time the passing game was outrushed was Halloween of 1994, the Chicago Monsoon. But this afternoon, led by Edgar Bennett's 109 yards, the Packers rolled up a total of 233 on 41 attempts. They had 25 pass attempts for 207 yards. Dorsey Levens and Edgar Bennett each averaged over 6 yards per carry, and combined they accounted for 3 touchdowns.
All the credit goes to the line. I mean, we ran the ball hard, but they gave us holes to pick and choose where we wanted to run.
Credit also spreads to fullback William Henderson, who continues to lead the way through the holes.
He's a bull. If you watch film after the game, the first couple of times the linebacker hit him straight on. The next couple of times they're trying to get out of his way.
The Packers set a season high with 18 rushing first downs. Bennett had the team's first 100-yard rushing day of the year, the 6th of his career. But he declined to speak about his performance after the game, so others talked for him.
A couple of times I thought he was stopped, and I turned and looked to the sideline, and he kept running.
He ran the ball so well. I mean, there's been so much said in the paper about the running game and, the way he's been running the ball. Today, I think he came out to prove a point. He ran the ball hard. He broke tackles left and right. I think he just ran like a man possessed today.
Well, despite Bennett's stellar day, he did not jump in the stands after his touchdown, but Andre Rison did. It was his first one in a Packer uniform, and he savored it at this spot right here.
He was telling us, go Pack, and he was being awesome.
Robert Brooks told me he told me when I jump, just don't jump normal. Jump like Superman or somebody, so I just jumped. I think I got an A.
Yeah, it was a long time coming. He deserved that, so we were very, very excited for him to get his first one. And I think he was almost so excited he almost passed out.
I want him to be successful. I want him to touch the ball. I want him to catch it. I want him to have fun playing here.
And as playoff games approach, the Packers have not only added Rison as another threat, but they feel Lambeau can only help the running game.
The field and the conditions were very beneficial to us for our style of runners. Our guys are square runners. They're not dancers. They're straight at you, and they refuse to go down.
Now the Packers hope the whole team has that attitude as they make a run for the Super Bowl. Jesse Garcia, today's TMJ4 Sports.
Thank you very much, Jesse. Well, a record day at Lambeau. The defense allowing 19 touchdowns on the season. That is a 16-game record, the 16-game schedule going back to 1978. They led the NFL in points scored and fewest points allowed. First team to do that since the 1972 Miami Dolphins, that went undefeated and all the way. Favre with an NFC record 39 touchdown passes, breaking his mark.
Lombardi etched not only his name in history, but his character as well, such that 26 years after his death, Lombardi's persona is the centerpiece of a major commercial campaign. Lombardi portrayed by Jerry Stiller.
Hey, Shakespeare, shut your pie hole and let's play football.
They said, well, they being a man named Ernest Lupinacci, who said, we saw you on Seinfeld. You play this guy named Frank Costanza, and you're always screaming at everybody. And we think that you would be the perfect kind of embodiment of Vince Lombardi.
You bust up a big play and score a touchdown. Fellas got to let it up.
And then when he explained to me that it was going to be the ghost of Vince Lombardi visiting back today, dealing with the players today, the Deion Sanders, the Reggie Whites, the Steve Youngs.
Hey, Steve, you know that ball you're running around with? Well, toss it to Rice, for Pete's sake.
I got very turned on by this idea.
There was the resemblance between the two men, each short, stocky, each a New Yorker, with similarities that seemed to go beyond coincidence.
I learned a lot about him. For instance, I discovered that we both were born in the month of June. He was born June 13th.
Oh, God. Get him out of there, will you?
I was born on June 8th.
I tell you, that kid makes more moves than United Airlines.
He was a Gemini.
Hey, interference! Interference!
I was a Gemini.
You know, that ain't canasta they're playing out there. This is football. It's a very emotional game.
I also discovered that he wanted to be a priest.
What the hell's going on out here?
I wanted to be a rabbi.
Holy moly! Hey, Sanders, you lost your shoe!
All these things started to coincide, and I said, my God, this is really something really very mystical.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
Anyway, take it from me, forget your fancy sports drink and get yourself some bicarbonate of soda.
What I do on Sundays sometimes now, which I never did before on every Sunday, is I sit in front of the TV set, or maybe Monday night, and I start watching Green Bay, and I watch Brett Favre, and I start
Screaming him like I'm Lombardi. Hey, you're doing good. Or hey, come on, what are you doing? He didn't pull him by the face mask. He hit him on the shoulder. Didn't you see that?
What, am I talking to myself?
Thank you, Bob Lee. ESPN spending money wildly this week. First, the lobster bob at the company party on Thursday. Then a double helping of NFL Countdown this weekend, Saturday. Chris Mortensen as Bill Parcells.
Time. Forge the legacy that continues to define this city. But their championships and their rings are 30 years or more old. Yet these Packers continue to recall those times in a single voice. It is the voice of their coach. And as Dick Schaff reports, they can hear him clearly, even now.
Of the 40 Green Bay Packers who played for Vince Lombardi in Super Bowl I 30 years ago, 37 are still alive. And Vince Lombardi, who died more than a quarter of a century ago, still lives in every one of those 37 men.
Unless a man believes in himself and makes a total commitment to his career and puts everything he has into it, his mind, his body, and his heart, what's life worth to him?
Like I tell people all the time, I love my father, who is deceased also, but I don't think about my father every day. I think about Coach Lombardi every day.
He's the kind of guy that's with you every day, you know, and anybody that's ever met him and worked for him and played for him realizes he's right with him.
Vince Lombardi really has an influence on Dave Robinson every day. 365 days a year, 366 on leap year.
Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
These are Lombardi's people. They are his legacy, perhaps even more than his own children.
My dad may have been a bigger influence in some of their lives than he was for me. Simply because he was with them in a more intense relationship. I quite honestly would be jealous sometimes of the relationship that my father seemed to have with some of his players.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
My life would have been very, very different had it not been for Lombardi. I was ready to quit. You know, I was at Green Bay. We won 4 games in 2 years. Our last year, we were 110-1 before Lombardi arrived. And I had had it with the Green Bay Packers.
In 1959, Lombardi became the Packers' coach.
The first day he came there, he made this speech, and he said, okay, guys, if you don't want to play winning football, get out of here right now. And he said anybody could walk out of that room and become a free agent, so to speak. And you could hear a pin drop. And after that meeting, and I was one of the veterans, that, you know, and we were walking back, and him and I were kind of next to each other, and he said, you know, I had no idea how many people would be left after I said that.
No one walked out. Lombardi took basically the same players who had been losers in 1958 and turned them into winners the following year, into division champions the next, and into NFL champions the next.
When he came to Green Bay and invited about 9 or 10 of us up in the spring, late spring, we broke after about an hour and a half of meeting. I ran downstairs, got on the pay telephone in the Packer office, called my wife, and all I said to her was, honey, we're going to begin to win.
He could see what we could become, and he felt that it was his God-given responsibility to close that gap.
I think we can accomplish most anything if we're willing to pay the price. And the price of success is hard work.
Lombardi's Packers won 5 NFL championships in 7 years, including Super Bowl I and Super Bowl II.
We're going to expect a 100% effort at all times. Anything less than that is not good enough.
Of the 22 men who started for Green Bay in Super Bowl I, not a single player had played on a national championship team in college. Only one, linebacker Dave Robinson, was a first-team All-American. Only 2, Robinson and defensive back Herb Adderley, were first-round draft choices. Hall of Famers Willie Davis and Bart Starr weren't drafted till the 17th round. And Hall of Famer Willie Wood wasn't drafted at all. Vince Lombardi took the unsung and the unknown and made them into champions.
Without football, without his philosophies, you know, I haven't the slightest idea where I'd be. Maybe back in Sandpoint driving a logging truck or something. I don't know.
As successful as the Packers were on the field, they were equally successful off the field. More than a dozen of them became millionaires. Max McGee, for instance, founded Chi-Chi's restaurants and sold them for a fortune.
To me, it's always been make the big play. You know, you can make some mistakes, but when something's on the line, you got to make the big play.
Willie Davis owns half a dozen radio stations and has been on the board of directors of dozens of companies ranging from MGM to the Green Bay Packers.
One thing that's happened in my life that I attribute to Lombardi almost totally, and that is that, hey, I don't ever enter anything or wake up in a day and think of losing. I mean, when I take on a project, I say, gee, I don't know how successful it's going to be, but we're not going to lose.
We're not going to walk in there and lay 1,000 pounds on the table.
Jerry Kramer, like so many of his teammates, goes into business meetings the way he once went into huddles.
I feel guilty if I don't get things done and do them. I hear his voice saying, you don't do things right once in a while, you do them right all the time.
A few of the Packers, like defensive end Lionel Aldridge, have not flourished financially, but may have won larger battles.
One of the first things they'll have to do in the second half...
Once a promising network announcer with a magnificent voice, Aldridge suffered from schizophrenia, lost his job and his family, wound up literally in the gutter, where his Super Bowl ring was stolen off his finger. Still, he remembered Lombardi's teachings.
Without a doubt, the most important thing was never give up. You know, never quitting. I mean, this has become a part of my life.
Aldridge didn't quit, fought schizophrenia with medication and dedication, and now tries to help the mentally ill by lecturing on mental health.
A man who is trained to his peak capacity will gain confidence. Confidence is contagious, and so is a lack of confidence.
11 of the men who played for him in Green Bay have joined Lombardi in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But it is what Lombardi's people have accomplished after the games that would probably most delight their old coach.
You would love it. He'd be so proud of all of us. If he walked in the door right now, what would you say to him?
And the first thing I'd do is give him a big hug.
I'd say, hi, Coach. I finally can have a drink with you.
The Packers would all like to raise a glass and drink to Lombardi.
The question of being black in Green Bay is no different than being white in Harlem, and that's the reality of it.
Next, how black Packers create a zone of comfort in a region with so few minorities. If you're looking for a particular player, you can usually find him by his nameplate or his uniform number. And when the players go home from work, they're in a city that is simply dominated by the colors of green and gold. But the African-American players, and that is 2/3 of this roster, are often identified here as Packers simply by the color of their skin. Here's Greg Garber.
The question of being black in Green Bay is no different than being white in Harlem, and that's the reality of it.
You know, we're the black people, and there are not any.
People have to understand that being a black player in Green Bay is very difficult.
Green Bay is the seat of Brown County, which, despite its name, has a population that is 99% white and 1% black. When the locals see an African-American here, they're pretty sure they know what he does for a living.
Up here in Green Bay, if you're black, you're pretty much on the football team. That's perception of things around here.
They come up and ask you, are you a Packer? Which one are you? And I think that's kind of the most irritating thing.
I have to agree with some of the guys. I mean, it do make you feel uncomfortable when people do walk up to you and say, which one are you?
And away from the field with civilian clothes on, black athletes' identities aren't always discernible to Packer fans.
When you call me Reggie White and you call me Sterling Sharp because of the color of my skin, the first thing they probably look at, it really bothers me.
And sometimes people confuse non-players with players.
I mean, to me, they all look the same, but I just recognize that they're Packer players.
So, how did you know?
How did I know? Well, one of them was wearing a Packer jacket, and the other way I knew was because they were black. I'm not discriminating or anything like that, but because the main football players are black.
But all blacks aren't players. Antonio Freeman, on the left, was the only Packer in the group.
his childhood friend James Arnold was wearing the Packer jacket. 18 current and former black players and coaches were interviewed for this story. And while they acknowledged it was sometimes difficult living in Green Bay, all of them insisted they harbored no ill will toward the local fans.
I would say there's very little racism. I don't think it's too much. I mean, it's everywhere, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's as bad as other places.
You know, when you think about an area with just, you know, just white population, you think of a lot of prejudice in your mind. You're going, I don't know if I want to go to a place like that. Totally opposite. I mean, a lot of the stereotypes are just torn up and thrown away once you get here and you go, man, this is a great place to play.
You may run into people that never seen black people eye to eye. You know, only thing they know about blacks is what they see on TV.
And you kind of run into them at any type of function or whatever, maybe at the movies, and it's, you know, people get nervous. You know, it's almost to the point where they're nervous.
Is it because they're nervous because you're a Packer, or is it because
I think, you know, the Packers have been here long enough where, you know, they're beyond the Packer thing. You know, when you're a black player, you know, there's a little different.
But is there different treatment for different black players? In Brooks' first 3 seasons, he averaged 30 catches.
Before, you know, 2 years ago, that was when I was getting, you know, the treatment where, okay, they don't know who you are, you know, they don't have a clue, and then it's just like, okay, who's this black guy, and what's he doing here?
Then, in 1995, Brooks broke through with 102 receptions.
Do you think people treated you differently? Totally. How? Totally. I mean, just the way they interact with you, the way they treat you in certain everyday situations. I think it's a question of being Robert Brooks, the football player, who's now caught a lot of balls, you know, opposed to Robert Brooks, the black football player who's just on the team, you know.
Still, Brooks says his new superstar status hasn't earned him a smooth ride through town.
I feel uncomfortable sometimes just driving my truck down the street. Because if I stop at a red light, I'm going to be looked at and stared at. I'm still a human being. I'm still a person. And so I still feel uncomfortable, regardless of, you know, what I've accomplished on the football field.
Green Bay, the black players say, also lacks some of the small comforts they took for granted when they lived elsewhere.
Where do you go to get a decent haircut?
Right down here to the brothers on the team, man. Most all the brothers on the team can cut hair.
Now the Packers are trying to address some of the black players' basic needs. An example, a barber is brought in from Milwaukee every Friday.
Now this cut right here is a simulation of a New Orleans cut.
I think the organization has bent over backwards to try and understand the uniqueness of the franchise and the community and deal with the African-American athlete. You know, the little things that they appreciate.
Another example, soul food is catered from Milwaukee twice a week.
Now we ask you to bless this food for the nourishment of our bodies. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen.
The players away from the job attempt to fill the void.
Go get him, go get him, go get him.
Tina Jones cooks every week for some of husband Sean's teammates and their families.
I'm Brian's family, and I'm Keith's family, and I'm Desmond's family. You know, I'm the whole team's family.
The players are on their own, though, when it comes to the social scene, which now includes, for some, a new element, interracial dating.
Most guys, like me, when I first came up here, I wasn't even interested in dating white girls at all. But my mom always told me that social Darwin is adapt to your surroundings. And if you're going to be active dating, you're going to have to date probably a white girl.
Butler says Green Bay is at ease with interracial dating now, but former Packer Mike Douglas says the attitude was different more than a decade ago.
You just didn't go certain places and more or less because it was looked at as maybe fun in some of these, the guys' face, you know, and the white guys that lived in the city didn't like it.
Douglas's Packer roommate for 8 years, receiver James Lofton, was one black athlete who had a problem. Whether it was racially motivated or not remains unclear even today. But back in December 1986, Lofton was charged with second-degree sexual assault against a white woman. He was traded to the Raiders and later acquitted. Race is an issue that occasionally even seeps into fan mail. The Packers, like every NFL team, receive many positive and some negative letters. Still, there are reminders that their black players exist in a white environment. Last year, Mark Ingram received a welcoming letter from a Packer fan.
And they were advising him and saying that, look, you know, you got to know the difference between a good colored boy and a nigger. He said a good colored boy was guys like Willie Davis and, you know, some of the guys that from the past that were good colored boys. But he said that, you know, Herb Adderley and guys like that. But he said the niggers were the Terrell Buckleys, the Sterling Sharps, and things of that nature.
I was a nigger because of the fact that I wasn't public. I walked around. I never, you know, I didn't jump in the stands when I scored, or I didn't do anything that made me, you know, so the fans embraced me. I didn't do a lot of community work. I did my job, and that was not a good thing.
Packers players, black and white, acknowledge the pressure of playing against the backdrop of Green Bay's history and tradition. But for some black players, there's more.
There is a responsibility for not just the players, but the black players on this team to carry themselves in a certain way, because you're really carrying the burden or carrying the consciousness of a group of people because of how they perceive you.
Is that fair for you to have to do that? That's a pretty heavy burden.
Well, I don't know if it's fair or not, but it is what it is.
People expect, you know, black players or black people to do the same as white people, and that's in Green Bay. It is called Title Town. I think the title really will help all this easy. I think that goes above racism. If you win that title, you don't even care about anything.
If the hassle of paying your bills puts you off balance, don't get sucked.
Is presented by AT&T, your true choice, and in part by Nissan, who reminds you that life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. And by the U.S. Army. Be a part of the toughest, smartest Army in the world. Be all you can be.
The critical issues in the Green Bay story from its very beginning are major issues around the NFL today. Fan loyalty, stable ownership, franchise location. These things are important around the NFL now. They have always been paramount in Green Bay. So now the final chapter of the Green Bay story will be told in one voice. If you're old enough to remember the Packers of Lombardi, you'll recall that many of their finest hours were captured in the play-by-play of Ray Scott. So now, the essence of Titletown, USA, from the man who reported so very much of it, Ray Scott.
If you walk down the streets of Green Bay, Wisconsin, a city of about 100,000, during the football season, and you were to ask someone other than a total stranger, what do you think of the game this week? The answer wouldn't be what game. There is only one in Green Bay, and that's the Packers. The Packers are more than their founder and longtime coach, Curly Lambeau, more than Vince Lombardi. It's a family of management, fans, of course, all the employees, including the Packer players and coaches. It is a big family. Reggie White has just signed an agreement which assures he'll finish his playing career with the Packers. He has indicated that he and his family intend to move permanently to Wisconsin when his playing days are over. Their talented quarterback, Brett Favre, has indicated he wants to finish his career in Green Bay. I'm asked many times about the famous or infamous Ice Bowl. It was miserable. Below zero temperature, terrible playing field, and I was down by the Packer bench in the closing moments when the special team had forced Dallas to punt. And as the offense took the field, Ray Nitschke, the emotional leader of that special team and the defense, said to the entire offense, "Don't let me down." We know now they didn't. That final drive was, to me, the greatest triumph of will over adversity in any game that I've ever seen or televised. I think that Brett Favre wrapped up the whole situation very well several years ago. The Dallas Cowboys had just won the Super Bowl, and Brett said, "When Dallas wins the Super Bowl, most of Texas celebrates." But then he said, "When we, the Packers, win that Super Bowl, all America will celebrate." I think he was right.